Right.
Okay, is Ruth joining us? I didn't get a chance to speak with her. Is she joining us?
I'm not sure. I spoke to Shelly. I sent Shelly a message
Mhm.
to her, but I haven't heard back, so I'm not sure. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, so we are ready to go live. We're live actually, welcome to each and everyone. Welcome. If you're in
Thank
the track,
you.
if you're in the someone's I think someone's television is on or a radio.
It's me. My husband is watching Trump getting arrested. Let me turn it down.
Right, just turn it down slightly and then we can go. Hi
Okay.
Dave. Good night, Dave. Welcome.
Okay. Yeah.
Welcome, Dave. Welcome. Boy, Ozzy,
Mm-hmm.
we're here and it is all about Budapest and nothing else. All
Okay.
about Budapest, just talking about,
Okay.
different things.
All right.
This is
Wonderful.
not a recap. This
Okay.
is,
Okay.
yeah, because
Good.
the
Good.
championship is still going
It's
on.
still
So
exactly. Exactly.
yeah, so we're
Exactly. Yes.
basically going to be talking about some things and looking at some fundamentals of the sport
Mm-hmm.
and thingy.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So Miss Dorothy, you're already Olympian. Dorothy Scott, genius.
Yes, I am ready.
Okay, good, 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 good. Good, good. Welcome each and everyone. Welcome. This chat is really Miss Dorothy, I'm still hearing the telly. Is it okay to get it
No, it's
down just
not
a little
me
bit
because
more?
I turned it
No.
off. No,
Ozzy, is
I
you?
turned it off.
No, I have nothing around me that's
Mm,
Hold
Mine
on.
is
nothing.
turned off.
Let me
Nothing.
see.
Nothing on my no.
I was
Let me.
hearing
Let me.
something.
Yeah, I think I was hearing something. Let me turn on my phone just in case somebody call.
Mhm.
No, not me.
Not you?
I turned it off, and there's none on upstairs.
Okay, okay, okay. All right, I'm not
Mhm.
hearing it. It seemed like we're final. Yes,
Okay.
Budapest 23, the World Championship that is going on in Budapest. And of course, the Jamaicans are there doing their thing, and
Hmm.
we are doing great things. But tonight, what I want us to look at is not so much the different events. I want us to be looking at some other aspect. Welcome Venice Brown. What I want us to look at is some of the look at sport management, organization, and all those kind of things. Starting with you, Ozzy, as
Mm-hmm.
as it relates to rules, the rules that govern the sport. And now I am looking at us. Do you think we are teaching our athletes about the rules of the sport? Do you think we're constantly teaching the different rules as it relates to selection, as it relates to false start, drug testing, those kind of things? Your thoughts?
Um, if we're teaching, the lesson is not being learned. So there's a failure somewhere. Um, I'm making a sort of broad statement, and but it that has always been one of my concerns in that, and particularly track and field, because it's a sport I follow more than any other. In that, I don't think, and I'm specifically Jamaica here now. I don't think the athletes are appraising themselves of the sport, the 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 business that they are in, the occupation that their livelihood, and I think I just find it strange. Just a quick point to sort of support what I'm saying. At our recent trials, um, the issue with Johan thing, an athlete was asked about the false start, and his response was something to the effect. I'm not quoting him verbatim. Something about the reaction time, and he quoted some crazy number. And I'm saying to myself, that reaction time that you have, 0.1 of a second that you can't violate. You can't start quicker than that,
Mhm.
or it's a false start. So I'm saying to myself, the number that he quoted is obviously way off what the rule said. And I'm saying to myself, if he was a judge to have false started, and he was given the opportunity to go and look at the display, what would he be looking at? He wouldn't have a clue what to look for, whether or not he was in the right, in the wrong, or not. So it's an area that we need to address. Probably the clubs. Are we talking about the professionals now? The clubs need to, from day one, even before they go on the track, put them in front of a blackboard, or well, no longer blackboard, whatever, and let them familiarize themselves with the rules of the sport, the rules of the event, and more so when it comes to anti-doping, drug testing, all of those rules. Or else, they're setting themselves up for failure, basically.
I'm glad that you touch
Mm.
on the false start, because at our
Mhm.
trials, two of the
Right.
men who false started in the 100 meters, one of them was very upset that
Mhm.
he was thrown out of the race while the other one stayed. And I was saying to somebody, is it that some of our athletes, they do not understand the rule? Because the first person that was disqualified, he came out of the blocks. He actually left his hands, his feet. He was out. The
Mhm.
other
Mhm.
person, he remains in the blocks. His hands were
Mhm.
on the ground. His feet, they were in the blocks. He was not disqualified, yet the other person was upset.
Mhm.
So, that is why I keep asking, if the athletes, do they really understand the different rules of their sport? But I'm going to go to Dorothy now, two-time Olympian, 1980 and 1984. Dorothy, when you were competing, how were you able to stay on top of, to learn about the rules and the different things that you needed to know about the sport?
Well, first of all, the false start rule was very different.
Mhm.
I think we got like two chances and then you're
That's
out.
it, man.
And I false started once at a trials and I started walking away. And the starter shouted, Dorothy, where you think you're going? Get back in the race. And nobody complained because they knew I would have made the team anyhow.
Mhm.
But my college coach, he was on every rule committee for USA track and field. So whatever he learned there, he passed it on to us. So we were fully aware of what was going on because he would let us know. So I don't know if that's being done now, but that's something that the coaches should take into consideration. Because some of
Okay.
these athletes and they go and they check the video to see if they actually fall started. So I don't know if they know what they're looking for,
Right.
but that's something that they should have been taught.
Yes.
I am wondering, and you can back me up on this, Ozzy.
Mhm.
And I keep asking the questions, and people keep saying to me that HP athletes need to know. But uh I am still wondering if we are teaching them about the sport, or is it a case where they just go out there and run, so they don't understand the academics part of their sport. Let us look at selection a little bit. And before we go forward, I just want to say welcome to everyone who are joining us. There's Dave Graham. We have Venice Brown, who was saying hi to her sister Dorothy. We have Nadine Barif.
Hi,
We have
Denise.
We have Sandy. We have Marlene Green. We have Kerry Ann. Good night, and thank you
Mm,
guys for joining.
mm.
Uh selection, as it relates to national coaches. I want to hear you guys view on this. I'm not sure what the selection process is for our coaches, but your thoughts on this, first, Ozzy, and then we go to
Mm.
Olympian route.
Um, like you, I have no idea what the process is. And there's nothing to provide any sort of guidance from the GH3 as to how they select the coaches. One pet peeve of mine is that I think we wait much too long to name the coaches for any major games at all levels, junior levels, senior levels. We wait till after the trials to name the coaches. My personal view is that the coaches should have been named well in advance for the respective events. Head coach, well, I think the head coach now is like almost like a permanent sort of position. But the other respective coaches should have been named a long time ago. When they are aware that they have been named and approved, they're supposed to start working, making contact with the athletes wherever they are, even if the trials is not yet held. But we have an idea who will be turning up. You try and see how can I help? Are you okay? What, whatever resource we can provide to the athlete. Through sometimes it's just a matter of communication. Um, listening to an athlete, some of the problems I have, because when they really go to the major games, it's very little real coaching is done at that time. It's more support and facilitating, but that can start from much earlier. Um, how they select the coaches now, I really no idea. As
Yes,
far as a
I have been
suggestion,
I have been
yeah.
doing some checks and I haven't seen anything, but I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
tell you guys about some research that I did. Ruth, not Ruth, sorry, Dorothy. Your take
Uh-huh.
on the selection of coaches.
I have no idea either. I think it's more friendship.
Hmm.
I think that's what it is. And Ozzy, the coaches are named before they are published.
Okay, well,
They know who is
okay,
going.
okay.
They
All
know
right.
who is going before it's
I'll
published.
All right, I
yes.
did I
Mm-hmm.
did some
Mm-hmm.
research today and I'm going to share it with everybody. And I'm going to call the country name because I research how America do their selection
Right.
process for
Oh
national
yes.
coaches.
Mm-hmm.
And I did some deep research today and I realized that their selection of coaches for national duty is a process that can actually start it from a year ago
Mm-hmm.
when I was
Yes,
looking,
true.
because when I was looking at their selection for Eugene, you had to submit your application from October the year before.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
you had to submit, and their process, um, how they select, they have a process that they go through where they're saying that colleagues can apply. I'm going to assume retired athletes, high school coaches, club coaches, once they meet the requirement. And listen to
Mm-hmm.
this now.
Mm-hmm.
Application people, the coaches who are interested must submit an application by a specific time, sometime all 8 months in advance. Another thing that is done when they're selecting their national coach, background screening.
Mm-hmm.
Background screening is done. Another thing is that when you submit your application, it goes through a process of approval where it goes through the
Mm-hmm.
board for USA track and
Track
field
and field.
before it is approved. And coaches, another thing that I saw that is that coaches cannot be coaching international athletes leading up to championship. And you
Right.
must, as Ozzy said earlier, you must be available for duties of training, camps,
Mm-hmm.
seminars,
Right.
meetings, anything that you're called up on.
On.
You must be
Right.
available to USA track and field. Once you're approved, you must be available for training. So it goes back to what you just said, Ozzy. These coaches, before, even months before their trials, they can start having
It
interaction
can
with the
Exactly.
athletes.
athletes. Exactly.
Exactly.
So, when I saw that, I was like, wow, it is actually a process that you have
Yes.
to go
Yes.
through months in advance. Your
Right.
take on that, guys?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Well.
another thing too, even though Jamaica is much smaller than the US, in Jamaica you'll have the same coaches going on team after team after team. It's not like that in the US.
No,
Mm,
it's not. It's not.
It's not like that in
mm,
it's basically like the same people, and there are other people out there.
They rotate. They
You
rotate
know?
them. Yep,
Yeah,
they
in Jamaica,
rotate
it's
them.
the same. It's the same people. They can know, okay, this game is coming up. I'm going to be on it. That's what I was telling you other. The coaches know way ahead of time
Time,
before
yes.
it's published that they are gonna be on
Well,
the
yes, I
team.
would imagine so. No, that, yes,
You
yes.
know?
But you know what I'm asking, and I keep asking this question, and each time I ask this question, I cannot get an answer that will give me will even support what I'm thinking.
Sub,
I've
sub,
asked
sub,
this
sub.
yeah, I've asked this question every time. Why can't the J3A certify coaches for national duties?
Yeah, you know.
Is that so? Is it hard to do? I want you guys to tell me if I'm
Cert,
saying something that is impossible.
let me see if I follow what you're saying now. The fact that you're a certified coach in itself doesn't necessarily mean you're certified for national duty, but you should have a
Yes,
special
yes,
certification, some process or some. Yeah, okay. I
yeah.
have no issue. I have no issue with that.
I'm saying, why can't we? And I am being genuine here, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not trying to bash anybody, but we have seen this problem over the years where there is conflict in our camp because this coach coaches this athlete, so they're going to put them to run, and we've seen coaches are now saying that their credibility is
Yes.
being tarnished. But
No,
isn't
it's
it
not. It's the truth. It's not.
you as an athlete, Miss
Yeah,
Dorothy, you
it's
can
not.
speak, Miss Dorothy,
You
speak.
know, they love to cover up their own behavior. It's not. I've seen coaches and team, and you're supposed to be the national coach, but yet you're only dealing with your athletes. Right now, you're not their athlete. You're the
Right.
coach of
Coach
the
of
team.
the national team.
Yeah, I remember I used to be coached by Foggy Bowers, and one year we went to Cuba.
Can you tell us Froggy
And
Barrow's correct name, his birth name?
Sydney Bowers,
Sydney?
Okay,
Oh, okay.
okay,
Sydney
okay,
Bowers.
okay.
Yeah, and we were in Cuba, and each morning when we had breakfast, we would go and we would sit with him. And one day he said to us, we have like maybe 4 or 5 people on the team that he coached, and he asked us to sit somewhere else. And we said, why? He said he didn't want it to look like he's favoring his athletes. So he asked us to sit at a different table so he could have breakfast with some of the
With
other
some
athletes.
other athletes. Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
But you see them and they don't even hide it.
and and
They
and that's
don't even
and
hide
that
it.
is what I'm saying. How can we get around this problem where favoritism favoritism is now showing
Mhm.
itself at major championship? And I'm going to be honest, I'm going to go back to the US team again.
Yeah,
When
right.
you see the US team out there, is one USA you're seeing. You don't
Yeah.
even know where these people train. But with
hmm
our athletes, we keep doing the separation. We keep having, it's like you have Jamaica racers, Jamaica MVP, Jamaica
Mm.
elite. It's like you're not seeing one Jamaica when
Mhm.
our athletes go out there. How can we get past this problem that we are having and that we continue to have at global championship? Because it
Well,
is not the first that we're hearing it, and I hope that when people see this broadcast, they don't feel as if it is an attack on them, but it is a problem that we have and it needs to be addressed. And Miss Dorothy, you as an Olympian, you have lived it, you have seen it.
I've lived it from my junior years. I've lived it.
mm,
So when I watched this guy today, I felt for him. I was close to tears. And I was saying to
um,
somebody, I said, I'm 66. I have children 30 and 25. I could have been a grandmother, but I'm not. I stopped running for Jamaica 84. And this is still happening. It is very embarrassing. And what these coaches do, they are friends and they stick together. Nobody's there to protect the athlete if his coach is not there. So they do these things and they get away with it. And I'm glad this guy is speaking out. Some people are saying he should have kept it quiet. It has been kept quiet for too long. It has been kept quiet for too long. And you work so hard to make a team. And then when you're deprived from competing because somebody, how could you put somebody on the team that wasn't even, I mean, it has been done before. They weren't named officially on the team, but we have a meet and said this person is added, whatever. But how are you going to take off somebody who finished way ahead of them and put this person on the team because you're their coach? And it's worse now that money is involved. It's worse now because
Uh,
when they go out and they get that money, they're going to give their coach something, you know?
All
And
right,
it
let
is
us
very unfair.
Miss Dorothy, hold that thought. Let us look at the selection process for the Jamaican team. I was looking at the
yeah,
rules
yeah.
today, and we're not really going to look at the individual because
Duals, right?
most times the
Just
individual athletes select themselves, even though we've seen
Hmm.
where individual athletes might have been overlooked because for whatever reason. But let us look at the relay pool.
right.
All right. The rule says the first four positions in the 100 and the 400 meter at the trials will be named in the relay pool. The relay pool, it did not say you
They have
will
to
run the
run.
relay. It says
Hmm.
that you're in the relay
The
pool.
pool, right?
Right.
Right. The next one says the remaining members of the relay pool will be selected by the J3A's selection
Um,
committee.
committee, right?
That's what it says. Okay, all right. My question now is, and Ozzy, you can take me up on this,
Hmm.
is why do we constantly have a problem with relay and who is to run? Is it that
Um,
somebody is not reinforcing the rule, or is it that the athletes do not understand the rule?
um, it could be a little bit of both, and sometimes succumbing to public pressure and the noise from the fans. I think a little of that sometimes. Yes, the rules are there, but I think it could even be a little. It could be expressed somewhat more clearly. Um, and you use your US in your reference, for example. So I'll use them because I have been on the USA Track and Field website and look at the details. I mean, when you look at their thing, it is detailed. There's no misunderstanding as to how their selection policy operates. Um, I mean, for example, you rarely see in our case like a 400 hurdler of late getting an opportunity to run in the 4x4 or a sprint hurdler running, giving an opportunity. There have been many. In fairness, there have been many who would make it, but there have been some who could make the team. Again, I think it's just for the policy to be clearly articulated so that there's no misunderstanding and for it to be enforced. I mean, it's as simple as that. You know,
All
if you
right,
don't, if you
But
don't,
Latoya,
right,
it can be enforced when the people are the head of the team are doing their own thing. The rules are there, but
mm-hmm.
who looked at it? Nobody looks at the rule. They're gonna decide who they want, and most over the sprint race should be based on who is the best at certain leg.
Exactly,
Because
exactly,
I always do the second leg for Jamaica and my colleague. The
right,
second leg is the longest in the 4x1. You have to. They could
usually,
never put me on the turn. you know, because my coach would tell me I'm a loafer on the turn. They could
right,
never put me to start. I'm not a good starter. So you have to find the person that
exactly,
best fits that leg. You know,
right.
that's
I
how
I'm
they.
glad.
Maximize,
That's how they select. It should be
exactly.
selected.
Dorothy, I'm glad that you say that because I personally think Jamaica could have won a lot more
Of
relay
course,
medals at
I
championship.
yes,
But I don't
Hmm.
think that we are doing our homework. I don't think we are doing our SWOT analysis where um we are trying to
maximize
understand people's strengths and
strength.
put them
Hmm.
where their strength
Yeah.
lies so that
Exactly.
we get
Exactly.
the best
Exactly.
fit. And I remember last year when we lost the 4x1 relay, America was saying some Americans were saying online that it's not about having the fastest women in the world. And I had
No.
to agree with
Hmm.
them. I had to
Yeah.
agree with them because
Hmm.
6 medals were issued in the 100 and the 200 meter. Jamaica alone won 5 of those medals. Yet we
Right.
could not get it
We could have
together
been
for the
because
4x1.
people weren't put on the leg that they were strong on. You know, they
Mm.
didn't put, and sometimes people tell, I want to run this leg, I want to run that leg, and they let them do it.
But
And
But that's
sometimes,
not how it should be.
Miss
sorry,
Dorothy,
this okay.
sometimes I think coaches also need to listen to the athletes because, all right, I'm going to use our best curve runner in our two best curve runner
Hmm.
in 4x1. If you're setting up a 4x1 team, let's say Johan Blake was at the championship and they said that they're going to
Hmm.
use Johan to start. And Johan said, no, coach, my strength is on the curve. He's correct.
Hmm.
But
Alien
the,
Yes.
Bailey, Alien Bailey, the same thing. So it is,
Hmm.
you have to
yeah, but
work
there are two curves, you know,
together.
remember. There are two
Yeah,
curves.
yeah, but
The
you
Yeah, but
start
cannot.
and the
one
third leg.
curve, you have to
Yeah,
come out the block. You see, you have
yes,
to
Yeah.
come out
I
the
So
defense
agree.
and get in a
right,
flying
I
start.
agree, but
right.
You know?
But if you look at the
Hmm.
team, you could not put Johan to start over Nesta Carter.
No.
And that's the
Mm-mm.
point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
Find where people's strength lies,
And
put them
use it.
there, and
Hmm.
they will deliver. Don't put someone
Yeah.
somewhere and hope that they will deliver. No. Your
Mm-mm.
point,
And
Ozzy.
especially in the
And
four by
another
one.
yeah, another thing I think, you know, and this is where, you know, they assign coaches, and inclusive of the head coach though. When the team is selected and everybody gathers, really practice say, look, no, this is it. People will be selected to run in positions that will maximize the performance of the team.
Hmm.
Anybody have a disagreement with that? Yeah, yes, good. You go one side. I mean, the concept with the
Yeah,
concept. That's
yeah.
so, yes, you might favor, you want to run the anchor leg, but it may not be the best thing for the
It
team.
might not be the best place
Best
for
thing
you.
for the
Right.
team, right? And what
Hmm.
that must be clearly understood up front. And we move from there, and you do your respective practices to, you know, to make that materialize.
I think
Hmm.
I think if we cannot fix this problem totally, I think we should assign coaches, relay coaches, independent of the clubs.
Um,
If it's not a problem that we can fix totally, I think we should get independent people to
for
study
the relay coach,
relays,
right?
know the relay, study the relay. Because let me tell you something, I can sit in my living room and I can pick a 4x1 team just by watching our athletes from running at boys and girls champs. Because if you're watching them from as early as that, you basically have an idea where a
Their
person's
strengths,
strength is.
strengths, yes.
Exactly.
If we remember, Veronica Campbell Brown went to the Olympics as a schoolgirl in 2000, the Sydney Olympics. Where did they put Veronica to run? Veronica is a baby on the team, and Veronica ran the backstretch.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Veronica ran the backstretch as the baby of the team.
Yeah. The just following up on this, I know in the past the US had a policy that the relay coaches, whoever selected for relay coaches, must be someone who didn't coach someone, what any of the individuals that were in the relay pool. Um, Again, to prevent the favoritism and all of that. I don't know if that policy still exists because I can recall Dennis Mitchell, who now coached Shakari, in the past having an issue complaining that he was bypassed for relay coaches, but at the time he had someone on the team who he coached, so that was out of the question. I see no reason why we can't adopt the same thing. You know,
I have been calling for independent coaches for a while now. I've
right?
been calling, and I've even said it to some of my peers since this championship start and before the championship. I've said to them, I said, look, I named two high school coaches that would have carried for the relay, independent of the whole club
Right. Understood what you said.
confusion
Right.
and
Right.
everything.
Mhm.
Because even if a coach who coaches at a club level, even if he's not a part of the selection team for the relay, and his athlete who is not performing up to par goes out there, he's going to get some of the blame. And that's what is happening to Maurice Wilson now. And
Mm,
we can call name because it is out and all over. It
mm.
is a
Mhm.
big thing now. He is being blamed because he's a technical director and he is also the head coach of one of these clubs. So I think to
Mhm.
prevent conflicts and all of this airing of laundry in public and at championships, I think the J3 now need to go back in their boardroom and have a talk going forward to the Olympics as it relates to our relay team. As I said before, individuals select themselves, so that's not a big
Right.
deal,
Exactly.
because if Elaine is selected for the 100, it's not like you can take her out and put who you
Right.
want in there. So
Exactly.
individuals
Mhm.
select themselves, but as it
We're going
relates
to the
to the
pool, but
relay,
and
we
the running order.
need we need to
Mhm.
address this before
Clear,
Paris.
clear guidelines.
We
Clear.
need
But
to address.
another thing, even if, say, for instance, Mr. Wilson, he may be the
Before
technical
before
director.
before you go with that thought, let us just
Mhm.
let in Latoya. Welcome, Latoya Clark. Latoya,
Hi.
we need to see your face.
Sorry,
Practice.
you touch my car on something. I'm driving home so that I can get to be better. Good night, everybody. Good night. Good night.
Yeah,
I
Good
just
good
Good
night.
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 have, I just have. Hi, Sister Dorothy, Mama Dorothy. Sorry.
Hi, how are you?
Hello. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Mhm.
So HB, you touched something that I know we have spoken about, that independent coach thing, and I went researching, and I must say that well, I'm going to say for the first time, because this is now the first time I'm knowing this, have currently in Budapest an independent coach that makes the sprint relays for Jamaica team at this time around. So I'm speaking about this time around because this is what I'm made aware of, who doesn't have an athlete who is a part of the sprint relay pool for a part of his club. And that is Mr. Lennox Graham. Is the person who is in charge of Jamaica's sprint relay team this time around in Budapest. So I think that maybe they have heard us this week in terms of having an independent coach, because Lennox is independent of any of those athletes named to the pool currently now, because you know
Right. Yeah.
Lennox Graham coaches the second time around current world champion in the
Right.
100-meter sprint, definitely.
Mhm.
Hurdles.
So
Hurdles.
Yeah.
get hurdles, sprint hurdles, right? So therefore, I think they may be doing something or going in the right direction once it is that they can keep it. As I said, I can only speak of the current one because I'm
Hmm.
made aware of the current one, but not of
Okay.
any other one. But so yes, they have that currently.
Beautiful. They're listening. I love that. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And
Let us
also for the
hold on, Lati. One moment. Let us just welcome Charmaine and Aileen, Olympian and world
Yeah.
champion
Oh, that's
Aileen
it.
Bailey,
Hi.
who is also going to tell us about her experience with the relay also and competing for Jamaica. Just to ask Charmaine and Aileen quickly, can you just turn your phone for us? You know that way. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Lati's driving,
Upside
so
down.
I won't stress her out to
Oh.
turn hers. Aileen,
Am I not?
turn on
Mm.
auto rotate. There you go,
So there you
Aileen.
go.
Yes.
There
Right.
you go.
Right. Latoya is driving, so we won't stress out Latoya.
Yeah.
Okay,
Careful.
continue your point.
Drive safe. Don't
Yeah,
don't try to do
continue your
anything while you're
point,
driving.
Latoya.
Mhm.
Oh, she did it. Good girl. She
Oh,
did
okay.
it.
All right.
Okay, Lati, continue your point.
okay, sure. I just need for a second. And currently, I'm not quite sure if Bert Cameron. I think I heard that Bert Cameron is the person who will do the 4x4. So I'm not remembering if he has someone a part of that pool currently for his one, but I'm sure about the sprint one that currently Lennox Graham doesn't have anyone a part of the pool, unless it is that they decide to take Daniel Williams to start the relay for us.
So Lennox, so
Who
Latoya,
knows?
Lennox was appointed afterwards, after the drama.
No, he was no man. He was named. He was named to the team.
Oh,
So he has been there from the start of this. So it is
okay.
actually Lennox who would have made that decision to that is now unfolding with the male side of the drama. But I think why it seems to be why it is that Maurice is getting the blunt of it is because he is the TD, the technical director. And we know that he has been that person before. So I guess that is why he is getting the blunt of it. But I know Lennox Graham is the person who does the sprint relays for us this time around in Budapest.
And he has the final say,
I
or
don't. Aileen will be better able to tell us about that part in
yeah,
terms because Aileen,
Wow.
Here's
has
the thing.
that
yeah. I
encounter.
can't wait
Here's
to
the
go
thing.
to Aileen.
He's assigned to the 4x1, but he doesn't have control.
Right.
Okay,
So so
so he doesn't
so
have the
the
final
anger is
say.
directed at Mr. Wilson because Mr. Wilson has a part in it. Like he's the what you call it?
Final
Something
say. The technical
something
He
director,
he's
director,
the
he's
sign
technical
off.
technical.
director. Yeah.
Right, so
So
he's the one
all
that
these
sign off on it.
Technical.
all these coaches that are on the team are just at 95% of the time they're just on the team to be able to have access to their specific athletes. They
Mm-hmm.
really don't have
Coach.
control of the relay team and stuff. And the thing is, like, they brought somebody in that's not on the team
Right.
that shouldn't be there in the
That
first
that
place.
that's what's causing the problem.
And
So
when
let
Taekwondo said his coach spoke to Mr. Wilson has the authority to make changes.
Right.
So if he says Taekwondo needs to be on the team based on the result of trials, then Taekwondo would
Should be
be
in the
on the
pool.
team.
In the pool. Right.
So let me ask you something now, Aileen. Let's go back to you. You've won gold with Jamaica, the Olympics. You've won gold with Jamaica, the World Championships. What was it like for you when it was time to set up a relay team? What were some of the conversations you guys had?
I mean, 2004 was easy because we got along. I mean,
Mhm.
the only year that was iffy was 2009 when the whole they were not gonna at first they weren't gonna run Frano's people and then last minute they said that they're gonna run them. So that was the only time we had like a little, drama. Um and then 2008 the coach them really don't listen.
They never do.
They don't listen because the two what happened 2008 would have been easily avoided if the coach them did just listen
Mm-hmm.
and paid attention because they weren't paying attention because in warm up there were issues with the passes and
Mm,
me said something but because me and a coach
mm,
You're a troublemaker.
exactly and that's how it is. 2011
Mhm.
I was on the team. Them literally tell me the day before I made the pool and them literally tell me the day before so them don't need me for the 4x1. So I showed up the next day in civilian wear
Mm.
because them said them have enough people.
oh
So
boy.
I showed up and then I got written up because I was rude.
We are going to
So
get we are going to get to that. We're going to get to that. We're going to
so
get
it's like yeah, Mr. Wilson have a say in the 4x1.
so let
It's
me
not
ask
like
Yeah.
he does.
so let me ask you, Aileen, 2004, when we won that gold medal
Disappear.
in Athens, you're saying it was easy to pick that team from Tanya Lawrence to Sharon to you to Veronica gold medal.
The environment was just different. Coach Mills was different that year. Coach Mills wasn't like filled with ego and it's his way or the byway. We were able to have a conversation with Coach Mills and say, this feel comfortable, this doesn't feel comfortable. The passes with these people, because he wanted to put us in specific places, but because the passes weren't going well, and we were able to talk to him and have conversation.
Mm,
And then us as a team got along because we were not going to tell somebody so them can't run because them not fast enough, or them come fifth or fourth.
Who picked that Super Four alien with you and those girls? Who picked you for?
So it was six of us, because what people don't realize is that Karen was the sixth person, but she was younger. So she did like the warm-ups and everything with us. But um we ran in the heats, we rested Veronica and ran Beverly.
That's
So
McDonald.
those were the top five. So you usually have 5 to 6 people, and you rest somebody and then bring them in to the finals.
Mhm.
So Veronica and I did the double, but I chose to run because I had some extra energy. And
So alien, let me ask this other question. How did they know that Tanya would have been the right fit to start? Sharon would have been the beauty on the backstretch, you the beast on the third leg, and Veronica just who she is on the anchor.
so what Coach Mills didn't know, Tanya was set, because Tanya was like the starting queen. Tanya was set on the first leg. We just have to fit the other four people somewhere. We tried me on the back stretch with Tanya, never worked. We tried Veronica, it never worked. Then Sharon and Tanya just first pass, perfect. So that was fixed. And we had Veronica's third leg. Her and Sharon passing to her wasn't working. So we flipped me and Veronica. Because what Coach Mills was doing is, because Veronica passed to me in high school from third leg. So he was going off experience.
And
But then I
familiarity.
can run any leg. You put me on any leg, I can run. So we just flipped it. And Sharon and the passes between us was just easier. And then I follow instruction, because Coach Mills noticed within the passes with me and Sharon, like Sharon will say reach, but she takes like about 2 seconds before
Okay.
she give it to you. So Coach Mills was like, don't panic. She has to make sure that she sees your hand before she passes, because Sharon is meticulous. Everything has to be perfect. So she has to make sure, so she see your hand. So she will say reach, but she have to make sure, because we're running full
Yeah,
speed. She has to
Speed,
make
right.
sure. Yeah, so she make sure. So Coach Mill told me that, because I was like, I hear reach and I reaching back,
Nothing.
and he was like, yeah, and he was like, no, don't do that.
But don't panic.
And that was it. And then Veronica and I had experience from high school. So that's how it worked. And then us as a team, we got along. We like wanted, we had a goal set. Um, we avoided any animosity between us. We didn't allow any outside influence to affect. Like we were
Focus.
zoning, you focus, yeah. And
Like
that was the
tunnel
task.
vision.
But it got different over the years, because all the coaches that came on over the years, they're filled with ego, and they feel like they know everything, and they
true.
need to make the decision, and they don't listen to us as the athletes. Like the only person that the men's 4x1 was able to have a say in how their thing was set up, because Bolt was king at
Both.
the time. So him can say, yo, this is how the relay team will go, because this feels right. And they listen. But the female side, them listen to us. And if they feel that they're above you, no, they literally will try to cheat. We're adults on the team, and they're trying to treat us like we're children, or
Yep.
talk down to us.
Yeah,
And
I'm
when
going.
you and
Yeah,
when
I'm
you
going to
speak
come
out
to that.
about it, them get vexed.
Hold
So
that thought, Elaine. Charmaine wants to share something. Go ahead, Charmaine.
Hi,
hi,
Eileen. You know,
hey,
you've been my sprint queen from school, right? But it's very interesting that you say that. And I think it was last year in Oregon when the USA won the gold. TT Terry said something very, very interesting, and it resonated with me and it stayed with me. And when they asked her, because we had three females in 1, 2, 3 and 100 meters, and the Americans took the gold, and you know what she said? The Jamaicans had issues. We had love and unity, and that brought us to gold.
Ay, ay,
I
ay.
think it missed a lot of people, but it was very, very important.
and that's how we don't have.
Yeah, and it's funny that Alien should say that, and that was happening years ago. That
Well,
was lost on us, and that cost us the goal because we were so caught up with everybody, the individualism and the ego and everything. TT Terry said it. She said it's all right. It's not like
Mm.
US was faster than us or better than us. They had unity and love,
Hmm.
and because we were displaying our disunity for the whole world to
Mhm.
see. She said Jamaicans had issues. We
How
Hmm.
use
can we
unity and love.
how can we fix this divide? We are track and field fans. We have a right to talk because we see what is happening. How can we fix this divide where when we go to a major championship, you're almost seeing three, four, five teams within the Jamaican team?
Just have like
Uh,
have leaders that can
yeah,
lead.
exactly. That's
That's
it.
literally it.
Mhm.
It
Because the girl that does the craziest thing is the women's 4x1 coach. Her and I went to University of South Carolina, and we were on the team that won NCs. And when that team won NCs, half of us never liked each other.
but
But you work
But
You
together.
put aside your
Coach
differences
Fry
for the
said,
team.
Coach Fry said, here's the thing. For the next couple of days, we don't bring our dirty laundry outside. So whatever it is
Mhm.
going on with us,
keep
when
that
we
one
go on
side.
this track,
Mhm.
You better
you
get it
are
right.
you are best friends. We live good. And after you come off the track, you can go back to your regular schedule, but within those time frames. And I
Mhm.
literally like the thing is not the US is not without issues. It's
Yeah,
just that
right.
Oh
them know
yes.
how to
You
Mhm.
can't see it. You
it's
can't
just
see
that
it.
them
Well,
No.
know how to bring them business out the road.
True.
well,
True.
actually, I'll just say last year they did have some issues. So despite
Yeah.
Terry saying what she said, there were issues
Mhm.
about leading up to the games. There were issues
But
about who must run, who shouldn't run. But
Michelle, their coach is experienced
period,
in
right? Hmm.
being able to put on a happy face
And deal with it. Mm.
and deal with it. So she taught them, this is what it is. We have to look good. But when you're
Right.
done the 4x1 and win, go back to no hatred.
Whatever.
And
Yeah.
that's the thing, that's the thing. That's what some people don't understand. You have a job to do. You
Do
don't have to
exactly,
like the next person to get
exactly,
the
No.
job
exactly,
done.
Mhm.
exactly,
You don't have to be friends. When you get that job done, everybody
exactly.
go about them separate
Right.
lives. So
But the craziest,
why do
Mm.
we
but remember,
feel like we have to be best buddies in order to get this job done?
don't have
It's,
to.
It's not
The
even
thing in
that. It's just
2012, remember 2012 with Bolt and Johan, and
yeah.
when them got Olympics?
World record.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's not even that,
but
What people don't realize is just that when you caught up in who's and John Drummond years ago, and just to say what Aileen said, John Drummond told the U.S. female team because he was coaching the U.S. female team in the time when Aileen was running also, and he did make the point. He said, "Listen, there's no queen here. We're just here
aye,
for. Don't worry about
Yeah.
the
exactly,
queen and the
exactly,
super, the sip and the super that." And the thing is that
exactly.
Jamaican, there's so many superstars in Jamaican team, but everybody don't realize at the end of the day, you're just running.
Hmm.
Right.
You're
and
running for
and
one
and
ultimate
and
prize, the
and the
gold.
relay, it's four members that make the relay team,
And
no
we have to be
one
on one
person.
accord.
One accord.
Exactly,
Mhm.
Right.
exactly.
And that's really I hope this time I don't see I'm kind of impressed. I'm happy that I don't see a lot of disunity happening
It
out
don't,
in the
you
public
don't see
sphere.
anything,
So that
yes.
is
Mhm.
good. So I'm really hoping, and I think that some people have been humbled by some situations.
I think so too.
Right. So I really do think because it was really horrible last year, it was hard to watch.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes. Um so I'm hoping that this year what whoever came out comes out on the for the four to run, it will be just be beautiful. And I won't allow TT Terry to say, "Oh, we was love to beat the Jamaican," because that was just so disrespected in a
It
very
was.
academic
Well,
kind of way.
It was, and I understand why she did it, and she had all
Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
She had all
Exactly.
right to say it
Mhm.
because we had the fastest women. We won 5 out of 6 medal. America did not
Mhm.
even get one medal in the 100 or
Right.
200 and
Right.
walk away with our medal.
Yeah. Mhm.
You
Yeah,
know,
we lost it to the Americans.
yeah, we gave it. Yeah,
Yeah, we lost it to the
yeah, and
Americans.
they had all right to gloat and did
Mm.
everything that they
I
did.
would too. I
But
would.
it's
You
just
know.
leadership. Like leadership. You are as good as your
Mhm.
leaders.
But
And
something,
That's true.
I'm glad.
leadership is lacking. Because
I'm glad.
my thing is we have Gregory Horton that's like a sports psychologist and other countries are utilizing him. Like Gregory
Uh,
is loving, but he's
wow.
stern. And if Gregory did their world championship last year, you think that should have happened? Gregory would have fixed it.
No, but
Mm-hmm.
Aileen, they're not going to use him because remember what happened, and you know we carry grudges, so they're not going to use him.
And you see, this is my problem. We hold on to the
Mm-hmm.
grudges. That grudge was
Yeah.
20 odd years ago? How long ago was
20
it?
years. Long
20
time.
Because if you notice,
Yeah.
the same thing Taekwondo is complaining about is essentially what happened when
And we're
Beverly
going to get to that
McDonald and
point.
Merlene and that girl. Is it as I was saying, mutis mutantis. The more things change, the more they remain the
Yeah,
same.
same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
And
So
it has been going on way longer than that.
so
it
you
Oh
has
see,
yes.
been.
Miss
Right.
It has
Dorothy,
been
Exactly.
going on.
Yeah.
Dorothy is saying it. Dorothy is coming
Yeah.
from the 1980 and the
1980.
1984, 80
Right.
and
Yeah.
84
There were
Olympics.
issues.
And she
Let me
had
tell
given,
you, we
There were
we
issues
lost out
1980.
on a medal at the '84 Olympics because one person was hurt, could not do any baton exchange. They, she went to the head coach and said, "I want to run the relay." And you know what he did? He wasn't even the sprint coach. He was the head coach. He took off a person with two good legs, put the one that was hurt on the first. They never exchanged a stick. They dropped the stick.
Mm.
They never did any exchange because she was hurt. Are you gonna come and say, "Oh, I want to run the 4x1"? Yeah, you would love to run the 4x1,
Yeah,
but
but
right now you're not in the condition to. You're jeopardizing three other people.
Hmm.
and, and
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 that's
that's
what
some
happened.
and that's something I don't understand. How, but then everybody don't think the same. If I am hurt and I know me being hurt will jeopardize the efficiency
Hmm.
and the performance on my team. There was a, even the coach said, "Boy, I think no." I said, "Coach, I know how I feel. I think in the interest of the team, pick somebody who is in better shape than me." And
Yeah.
people fighting to run and know that they're not,
Hmm.
I just
yeah,
cannot
time
We
comprehend it.
had
alone.
three
But it
more
happens. I know
people,
it happens.
including
Yeah.
myself, but I wasn't interested in a relay. I just stick to my long jump. I wasn't in that fighting back and forth.
But
But
long
they had,
jumpers are
yes.
fast.
Oh
Huh?
yeah. Isn't it
Long
beautiful to
jumpers are
watch today?
fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
Yes,
was a sprinter before I'm a
so,
long jumper.
right.
I
Yes.
know.
You know?
Like you have long jumpers have to sprint. Like most long
Yeah,
jumpers
I
I've
was a
known are
sprinter.
sprinters.
Then I
Yeah.
run the four. I remember one year in track and field news, I won the long jump and the 400, and they were like 400 and long jump. This doesn't make any,
Mm,
but
yeah.
what they
Yeah.
don't know is that I was also a sprinter,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they had
But
two persons, they had two people with four solid legs, and they took the one off that had been practicing, took her off. This is the final to put somebody who got hurt at the Olympics because she wanted to run. I think that was selfish on her
of
part,
course it
who do
is.
you
and I don't
blame
want
for
to
that?
tell.
Who do you
Yes,
blame for that?
I
Coaches.
blame the coach.
See,
I blame
must
the
be,
coach.
can't be anybody else. Mm.
The coach is the one making the decision.
And
You
once you know
don't
the
do
person
that.
hurt,
But
You
once
know,
you
the,
once you're fully
everybody
aware that the
knew she
person
was
is hurt,
hurt.
you
right?
know what
Yeah.
I've discovered, and we're going to segue into athletes speaking out now. You know what I've discovered? I discovered that leaders don't want to be questioned. Now,
No.
if you don't want to be held accountable for your position, do not
Don't take,
lead because
do not
you
take up
will
the
have
right.
to answer questions.
Of course,
And
Yeah.
it's part. It come with the
I've
territory.
observed, I've
Hmm.
observed that if you speak out, people see you speaking out as a disrespect and they want to hurt
Hmm.
you because how
Mm.
Yep.
dare you talk. So
Yeah.
it's like we're developing this thing now where people are not supposed to speak their truth, because
Joy
if you speak your truth, it's not a lie now. If you speak
is
your
the
truth,
truth.
then you're going to penalize. These are grown people, these are
And
athletes
that's
who
the thing,
grade with
especially if you started as a junior. When you become an adult, they still want to treat you as a junior. And you're a grown person.
Miss
You
Dorothy.
know?
I know that you're a troublemaker because you used to speak out.
Yes, I do. I do.
Ah,
Yeah, but it's
And
true.
and I teach my children to do well. One is more outspoken than the other. I said, you have to stand up for your rights because people
of
will run
course.
right over you.
Tell me about
You
your
have to.
experience when, because I know that you were overlooked for an
Several,
event.
several times,
Tell me
several
about
times.
what happened when you speak out about that.
Um, in 1981, I was on the 4x1 team. A quarter miler wanted to run on the team. I've been running 4x1 for Jamaica for years. They took me off. I went in the room and I voiced my opinion. I slammed the door. Maybe I shouldn't have slammed the door on my way out, but I was just tired of it. And they eventually put me back on the team. But I was kept off the Jamaica team for 2 years
Why?
Mm. Because
because
of
I
that,
was
he
rude.
spoke out.
I was rude. They kept me off the team for two. And not only they did that, they spread lies on me. They spread lies.
So you made the team and they left you off it, or you did not make the team?
I made the
Miss
team.
Dorothy,
I
me feel
came
like
to
you never met the team, cause that not possible.
I'm sorry, Ruth. I came to Jamaica in 1983 for the first World Championship trials. I had made the qualifying distance before in the long jump. When I came to Jamaica, I still jumped 21, whatever it is. I don't remember what
In
it was.
field. Mm.
I beat the second place person by 11 inches. She was on the team. I was not. She was on the team. And I remember when I came out for the 84 trials. Now, the long jump is not a glamour event.
Mm-hmm.
Most of these officials were at the long jump pit. They were at the I don't know what they're planning on doing, but they were at the long jump pit. And I had made the qualifying distance before I came to Jamaica. The person they put on the team the year before me did make it. So she was trying to make it at the trials, but she still
Okay.
didn't make it. So one sport reporter that, we had a good relationship from way back when I was in Jamaica. He was there. So after they said, what was going on there? Him said, boy, I don't know, but me see everybody there, me make sure come some no teeth in no go on. Why
Wow.
were they at the long jump pit?
Wow.
The long jump is not a glamour event. When the long jump is going on, they
The
don't know
100
what's
is
going
going
on
on.
out there,
Ah,
you know?
Jesus.
But I made sure, like I said, I jumped the qualifying distance and I made when I come to Charles, I was going to win because I had something to prove.
Let me
And it
ask
happened to me several times.
let me ask you, ladies, the Olympians, the athletes, Dorothy and Aileen, do you think that our federation is do you think our federation is really operating the way they should as um I'm trying to find the right words. I don't want nobody to
Whatever
bash
word
me.
you're trying to find, the
Whatever
answer
track,
is still
no,
I'm
no.
trying
no, it's
because
The
still no,
answer is still no.
no,
I
Don't
know
try
that
to pretty
I
it
know
up.
no.
The
Don't try to
answer
pretty it
is
up. No,
no.
the thing is that
no,
I
they're
know
not.
that
No,
my people don't listen to understand, they listen to respond, and people
no.
will bash you without understanding what you're trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
And
so
No, now what you're trying to say, what is the intended meaning of your
so,
your,
so
your
let me
statement?
Mm-hmm.
explain something to you. Our federation is not doing enough. I'm a member of USA Track and Field. I pay an annual fee, and USA Track and Field every year they have a retreat with the past athlete and the current athlete to talk about what they're not doing right and what they're doing right. And then on the USA Track and Field website, they
Mm-hmm.
offer coaching certification.
Patient.
So if you
Yes.
want your level 1, your level 10, whatever, they offer that. Also, apart from Nike, USA Track and Field is a brand is a brand on the Nike umbrella. So if you want the
Mm-hmm.
USA Track and Field gear, you can buy it off the USA Track and Field website, and that money goes to the USA Track and Field.
Mm-hmm.
Our federation don't have that. Puma is making millions.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
We should have
Yeah,
we
yeah.
with the level of
Success.
success we had with Bolt, like our gears was going left. Jamaica gear still
Is
flying off the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
See, Adidas just pick up the soccer, the football team and the gear gone.
Sell like hot bread.
Yeah,
Yes,
because
same thing with
it's
Puma.
a Jamaica.
J3s or the JOF should have something like that in place. They should have something in place where not just athletes can be a member of the J3s. Because
Right,
USA Track and Field, I'm not an
right,
American and I'm a
right,
member. I just pay
right,
my
Mm.
dues.
right.
J3s keep saying that they don't have money, but they need to open it up to
Yeah, to make
everybody.
Yeah,
money.
yeah. That's
Because the USA track and field, they don't get any support from the government.
No,
They
they fund
don't.
themselves.
They
Yes,
generate their own
My membership
yes,
is there's
yeah, they don't
millions
get
of
money
coaches
from the
all over the
government.
world that have a USA Track and
Mhm.
Field membership,
mm,
So,
and
so
it's
Aileen,
$50
anybody,
a year.
anybody can join the USA Track and Field.
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty much.
anybody
almost.
can
Yeah, yeah.
Me
Mhm.
go,
I've been on the
me
site
go,
and I've looked, but
me
I
go
think there are
join it.
different levels of
money talk,
membership.
you know.
Me go
Right.
join it. I
Yeah.
I
Money
think there
seriously.
are
talk.
different levels of membership. But yeah, I have looked on the site and I've seen it. What Aileen is saying. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they have gears. They have like right now they have like a world championship line. So every year is a different line. When a Olympics is an Olympic line. When a
Right.
world championship is
Mhm.
a world
Yeah.
championship line.
This a
There's
break my
more.
heart. This is
There's
breaking
more.
my
Yeah.
heart. This a break my heart.
Keep saying that,
And then
and they have
again,
in
most of
the
the
thing is now
people.
USA track and field is run by like the bigger heads them, a part of the organization. You have them have lawyer, them have investment bankers. So and I like say the money just go to them and it's sit down.
Mhm.
Mm,
They turn it over. Them
They
invest
flip
it.
the
Mhm.
money. It turns over. And then the
But you know,
younger kids benefit because they have grassroots programs here in the US. And anywhere USA track and field have like a program where they send like a couple athletes to this state and they do like a
Uh-huh.
USA track and field clinic and they speak to the kids about health and how to take care of themselves and they'll donate stuff to the school. And they'll teach the kids like the basics of jump. They have a long jumper, they have a shot putter, they just send somebody out. Jamaican like you
they don't. So they have a feeder program,
they have
right?
Yeah,
a feeder program.
and
Yeah.
I
But
think
what
that
is
they use their Olympians. They use
right?
their Olympians. Jamaica doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was saying
Go
because,
ahead,
like, if
You
you
Carmen.
know?
notice, most of the persons who are J3 and the hierarchy, they are doctors or some
some
business
of them
persons, school
never
principals who are
Them
Some of
not
can't
them
even
never run in
walk
necessarily
them life.
fast.
run to
They
the
nobody
can't
never.
kitchen or the
even walk
bathroom.
fast.
Right.
But
And what is also important coming out from what Aileen is saying, what I realize that there is no political interference because, to me,
No.
it seems like Jamaican sports is now
Always.
lace polish
Hmm.
and
Something,
covered
Everything
something.
in
with
Yeah.
Jamaica
some
is political. Everything.
Why we don't know?
it's for some sort of political color. And
Mm.
anywhere where their
Hmm.
government is involved, there's always
mhm.
going to be that sort of anarchy. To me, that's
Yeah.
how I look at it, and manipulation and whosoever. Because so clearly, USA Sport is running as a business with business people in mind,
Mm.
taking out the
Yes.
thing.
Amen.
This
It's
is
a
Right.
not what's
business.
happening, and it's not for
Amen.
the want of not like talking because you watch TV every day. You hear all the people coming with all the marketing stuff and all the marketing strategies and that sort of thing. But who is taking that up? Nobody is,
Hmm.
and what I find, and the point is because the athletes are not united in a way, coming in a united front to say, listen, this is what the legacy that they want. So outside of everybody trying to, because in the time in 18 was running and time before, there wasn't all that monetary value.
Right.
Yeah,
Hmm.
people don't have
Yeah.
that
But
strong income coming in. So now it's about people getting individualistic because the income. So the more demand for you is the greater the income, and therefore people don't not thinking about the sports on a whole
whole,
as
yeah,
opposed to
it's self,
you know
self.
Because to them, it's a
um
business. That's their job.
that's their job, but you're not thinking
Hmm.
about it as a business and for the long time and for the legacy, for the perpetuating, for the
Hmm.
generation. Like I hear Shelly
To
talk a lot
after
about her
them.
son. Let's say use Shelly for instance. She talk a lot about her
Mm.
son, assuming she'd want her son to become an athlete also. But then outside of her foundation and that sort of thing, you would like to see people like Shelly, people like Usain, and that sort of come on board and saying, listen, form some sort of organization, right, that speaks on behalf of the athletes. So the athletes don't have a name brand athletes, so to speak, but
Hmm.
they represent the country,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
They give. they give of their service to some extent, and the country benefits from that. So they speak on behalf of those athletes who don't have that power to speak. And
And
that is something that I would like to see, see happening. Where is athletes Fed come together and form that organization? People like Aileen and all those people come together and form the organization.
And I keep saying it, I keep saying it. We do not, and I don't know why I say we,
Independent
because
of the government and
yes,
J3A.
we do not understand the
Yeah,
business side
independent, right?
of the sport. The business side of it, we don't get it because we're not doing any marketing. There's no, I'm sure if I call somebody now and said, what is the plan? What is the 5-year plan for the J3s? What is the plan for the next 5 years? They might not have a plan. We do not have any plan. There's no marketing of the sport. Where is our merchandise? Why is it that we don't have merchandise selling? Why we don't have a t-shirt with 122 on it or 133 on it in the Jamaican colors? Why don't we own those designs? Why we don't have that? Why if you go to a stadium, you cannot get a Jamaican t-shirt to buy. You
Yeah.
go to a track meet, you cannot get
It's not, yeah.
not even an armband, not even a headband.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nothing, no merchandise. We're not generating any revenue. We only sit down and wait on the money that we get from sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
So sponsors give you 20 million and that you have. What about you sit in your boardroom and come up with
And
ideas?
using,
Where are the visionaries? They're not
And
no
it's not
yeah,
vision.
and it's not even about
yeah,
the athletes, even the football. If you look at even the situation of reggae girls, and congratulations to them and kudos to them. And it's almost people like when Bonnie Shaw was saying they set up the GoFund and thing, and it's almost like people would want to get down on her. And I noticed the minister when she spoke, she had the conversation with Bonnie Shaw as if she's reprimanding Bonnie Shaw and here. And I'm saying, but somebody
yeah.
showed it on social media in a way that she wasn't just talking about this one-off situation where the government. Why did they pay them the 2,500 US after they beat Brazil? The money was on its way to their account. They needed funding to move around and that sort of thing. So
Exactly.
From day one.
yeah,
Yeah,
But
but
the thing is,
if you notice,
Jamaica,
Bonnie Shaw, she
what
didn't.
have
You
you
notice
done for me lately?
1 second. You notice
That's
she
the
didn't.
thing with Jamaica.
Right. Well, the point I was making is just that after that incident happened, and obviously they called her. You notice she made the football team members made no mention of any funding or anything like that. So it's almost like they are bullied into speaking their truth.
Yes.
Oh yeah, they do it to us too. It's how it is.
They're bullied into
Yes.
speaking their
They
truth
threaten
because
to not have you on teams. They tell us they not them not make sure so you don't dip on
this
teams.
right and
And
that sort of thing. But the fact of the matter is just that she wasn't speaking about that one-off situation. She just was speaking generally.
Just in
So she may not.
overall. Yeah.
That's right. So she may not have said it the most eloquent kind of way and get it in a way that sounds, academically, eloquent.
Correct.
But
Correct.
the fact of the matter is that we understand what she was saying, and therefore, so when everybody came and said, "Oh, we have the conversation," but not everybody. I listened to the minister in such a tone. I had the conversation with her. It's almost like she's reprimanding. But the fact of the matter is that he who feels it knows it, and who have been there knows
Mhm.
it.
Exactly. Exactly.
If
Yeah, and
if
The,
a
that's
the,
why I'm saying the only way we're going to get forward, because there are so many coaches in the system. Every athlete has their own coach. Everybody just it's everybody's segueing into their own world. But at the end of the day, you really wear the Jamaican colors.
Yes, I,
Right.
I I
Yeah.
totally agree, and this is why we need a leader. We need somebody who understands the business side of sport to head the federation. If
Yeah.
the person who is heading the
It should be a
federation,
full-time job.
it
Yeah,
well,
sh-
it should
in
be a
should
fact,
be a
that's
full-time
that's
job.
that's the question I was going to ask. If
It
it,
should be a
right,
full-time job. So even if you are the president and you do not understand the business side of things, you need to have a
Get somebody who do
consultant.
it.
right.
Get somebody who understand the thing as a business and say, come, you are going to be working with us. We need, as somebody said from another channel, Track and Feelings, Xavier, and I'm going to give him props. Xavier said, the J3s need a project manager.
Mhm.
Yeah,
They
I
need
agree.
a
Even
project manager. They
and
need people behind the scene that understand the sport, understand the importance of marketing, the importance of generating revenue, the importance of transparency. They need stuff like that in order for the federation and the athletes, Aileen. You guys need a union.
um
We've tried.
and
No, you don't need a
We have
union
tried.
because
and
I
and
believe her.
what happened? What happened when you
We
tried? What was the
we have tried. We tried, and then them dangle the person that was spearheading it and collecting. We had
don't
like
call any names.
me not call the name person that was
Mm-hmm.
spearheading it, and them dangle
some okay?
The
I
carrot,
so
hear that.
me
the
I
carrot.
hear
them
that.
dangle carrot
And
and
jump ship
boom
and
bang it
abandon them.
done. We just get dropped.
I was
Yes.
going
And
there, you know. I was
huh?
going there. I was really going
Mm-hmm.
there that I had a lot of expectations, and then all of a sudden I just don't hear nothing.
Mm-hmm,
Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I was ready. I was like, yes, we're gonna do this, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
every time
I
them
thought it
dang.
would have, I thought that was a good idea when we tried that. But like you said, the person who's at the head of it,
Them
from what
always
I'm
find the
hearing
weak
from
link.
others, huh?
Them always find out the weak link, and then
Yes.
just
and you
And they're
know
not
and then
responding to calls or
and
anything.
yeah,
So,
and everything
and
just
I said, so why don't we all move him? We can't move if we don't have a meeting, and he's not calling a meeting.
yeah.
You
So I
guys,
tell
the
him, I want back
athletes,
my
but
fee. I
you
I
want back
guess
my
we could
money, my
try.
pay for my fee.
you see why them
but
banning Miss Dorothy, Miss
from
Dorothy.
Yes, yeah, troublemaker. I
But
want back
on
my
a,
money.
but on an honest
but
note, you guys need a
okay.
voice. A voice.
Hmm.
The athletes need a voice because even
Yeah.
with what is happening to Taekwondo now, somebody
It's
needs to
sad.
pick this up and
And
evaluate
tell them to
and
stop
examine
blame.
because
And tell them to stop blame Sergi and a Sergi. Sergi don't have tell them to not mix up Sergi.
yeah, because
Research G.
he's saying
Mr. Graham.
now
Well,
Oh, Winthrop,
Not
no, no,
oh,
Winthrop.
Winthrop.
Lennox.
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 Tell them to not mix up
Yeah,
Lennox.
I know.
because
Lennox only a decoration. Cause
Taekwondo
You know
him
what was
Mhm.
sad about that? You know what was sad
eh?
about that, guys? When the Taekwondo first, I was watching TV and I saw that, and they were speaking to the liaison person, and you know what came out of his mouth is just that we're going to have a meeting to see the penalties and the charges that we're going to be. In other words, he was just telling Taekwondo shut up because we're going to be
Charges
penalizing
against
you.
who?
you,
It was
Yeah, that's
on it.
what
I was
they
watching the
do.
news.
And
That's what it came
they
up.
want to kick him out of the game. They
but
want to
based
take his
on
credential and send him back home because
what
he
he's
opened
Accreditation.
his
I know
saying,
mouth.
that
based
part,
on
but the
what he's
charges
saying,
part.
they took his credentials. Why would you throw him out of his
Accreditation.
job? And
Yeah.
I want to know what kind of what did he do? What kind of crime he committed in order for him to lose his credentials and you throw
He
him
let
out
the
of
public
job?
know what
Well,
was going on. That was his crime. He spoke
well,
out on what was going
And
on.
that's where I realize we are going as a people. When you speak the
Hmm.
truth, people want to silence you, and we
Me not
need
tell you
to
them
stop
banned
it.
me for 2 years. And they didn't even have the courtesy to say, Miss Scott, you won't be making any more team for so and so because of your bad behavior. I just have to wait until team is announced and my name is not on it. The
But my
first time I
well,
cried,
well.
but
the first time I cried, for me, then me not wasting my tears on them. You crazy? I have more
My,
important things to do.
my hope
Yeah.
is that coming out of this incident is that the media, the sports so-called journalists, and I say it deliberate when I say so-called journalists, some of them,
Hmm.
is that they professionally seek to find out exactly what happened in this thing. Get the facts, present the facts,
right,
and we make a clear determination. Because
right.
in fairness, well, personally, me, I hear one side of the story. I heard Taekwondo, and there may be another side,
No,
and
but I
I don't want
watched.
to draw any
The only
conclusions.
Hold on. I
You
watched a
know,
video. Miss Dorothy, I'm not okay. I watched a video this morning from Oral Tracy, where Oral Tracy
right,
said he made a video after the mixed
the
relay
mixed relay.
Yeah.
demise. He made a relay. And he said that whatever he said in his video, Maurice Wilson said to him that I am disappointed, and your video is causing all kind of problems, and that and that. And I am saying, if you are in a leadership role, if you don't want to answer to the people that you represent, you should
Do
not
the right
be
thing.
there. Do the right
Mm-hmm.
thing, or
Mm-hmm.
you should not be there. Because when you don't do
Yeah,
the right thing and people come to you for answer, you are supposed to give them answers.
exactly.
So
Exactly.
now
But you
that
know the
you
problem?
have,
No,
You
but
know
he did answer oral, He told him exactly what his role was and his responsibility. In
I
fairness,
know, but
this
what I'm
right.
trying to say, this thing where we call, where we are ready to call disrespect when a person
Yeah,
speak their
right.
truth,
I have an issue.
we
Right.
need to
Yes.
move away from that, because
Exactly.
of this, a lot of people are afraid to speak their truth because
Right.
Exactly.
people want to silence them.
is this
Mm-hmm.
becoming
No,
unanimous to Jamaica? Because don't you see this is coming from the head?
Yes.
and
This is coming from
and that's
the
what I'm
head.
Yeah.
saying. That's what I'm saying. So I would like to know, how did Taekwondo Tracy disrespected the coach? That is what
This is where we need a journalist,
and
to
a
go
lot of
dig, get the
times,
Mm-hmm.
facts and present it.
we treat our senior and
Mechanical.
professional athletes like they are children. We talk
Children.
to them.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these athletes, they are married, they have their kids, and you are going to talk to them like it is my way or
Yes.
the highway.
Yeah.
That's not
Mm-hmm.
what you do. You have a
Mm-hmm.
conversation and you come to an agreement. You don't talk
Mm-hmm.
down to me because you coach me, or you don't talk down to me because you're my boss. We have a
Yeah.
conversation. You talk to me.
Hmm.
And I think this is what is causing a lot of
Yeah,
problems for us.
that's the
We are
problem with
talking
them.
down to these adults, and then when they retaliate, we say they disrespect
They are
us.
disrespectful,
And
but
the
they are never
powers,
disrespectful. The
right? And the
officers are never, and they are never penalized for their bad behavior, but the athletes are.
right, and the powers that be don't realize that they're in the position because those athletes, people like Aileen, they're out there training. They're the ones who are putting them, who give them a job.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because if the
Yeah.
athletes weren't performing at high standard and performing so that they could, if you notice what the minister said today, our Gladbach boss, it's
Hmm.
almost like if they
Yes.
didn't get
Mm-hmm.
a goal, she wouldn't be
Are glad
whatever
by
it
the
is,
wooden bus.
No, she
wouldn't
is.
be.
Mm-hmm.
There's
But
She
the
no
fact of
G.
the
is.
matter, and I'm not knocking her, and I'm just saying exactly what she said
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
verbatim.
Hmm.
Nah, she's not a good minister of
The fact
sport.
of the matter is just that
No.
these people need to realize that it's the athletes who put them in that
Right.
position. Because let's assume that Jamaican athletes weren't performing at the level of excellence that they are performing, then JTA wouldn't have nothing to brag about. There
There
wouldn't
will
be
be no
so many
J3.
persons in Budapest. There
Exactly.
wouldn't be all that, all all the this and the that afforded to them, because it's the athletes who put them there and cause them to be there, and they're not seeing that as a salient point of this line of business.
Yeah.
The J3s need to recognize that the most important asset of that federation is the athletes. They
Yes,
need
Exactly so.
they need to
Exactly.
recognize the
That
athletes.
will
I mean,
never
me
happen.
not gonna stop bat for the athletes. The
That
athletes
will
are
never happen.
they are the most important asset that the J3 have. Not the
Mm-mm.
board where them have, not the president, not the staff, not nothing else. The athletes, they are the most important element of Jamaica track and field. Take them out of it and we have nothing.
True.
Mhm.
and rotate
But
them, man, because
yes, rotate them.
Them
Mm-hmm.
you
no
know what,
rotate them. I see them one
They're
them.
perpetuity,
the same
yeah,
set of people.
the perpetuity of
Mm-hmm.
the same set of people, you know, because I think it wasn't Trevor, the professor, one of the other universities said it. Perpetuity, inefficiency. The
Yes,
longer you're there and
yes,
you're sitting
Mm-hmm.
in the same
yeah.
Yeah.
position, I think causes
You
inefficiency.
become
Change them
complacent.
around and catch some
Mm-hmm.
fresh mind and some fresh line of thinking, and
Mm-hmm.
allow for some equality and fairness in the process. You have the
Mhm.
same set of people year in, year out. You can't talk to them. You can't, and every year that they're there makes it harder for
And
the
that's the thing,
athlete.
you ever notice when the media try to interview some of these people who are higher up, how them come with the attitude?
Uh-huh.
It's like they
How
don't want
dare
to give you
you?
any
Mm-hmm.
information. How can you
Yeah.
be working for people yet you think you don't owe them any explanation? And that's
Mm.
where we are. That's where we are heading. How dare you ask
Mm-hmm.
me any question about that? We
And
put
that's how
you
they are.
there. And that's how we are operating.
You
And
can
it's a
help.
widespread thing in our country. The people who are leading don't want anybody to ask them anything. And I am a track and field fan, and I have been for many, many years. And it is my right to find out what is going on with my federation. Why are we not evolving with the sport? We're not evolving.
But and that's the thing. That's why Mr. Francis don't really. That's why Fernando don't really deal with them because he tried. He literally tried to
Why
like
are we not evolving? We're
show
at
them
the
how to
same
run something, like run the. Or he
They
tried
don't
to
want
like
anybody
give them,
tell them what
but
to do.
they don't
They
want
don't
anybody to tell
want
them.
to be told what to do because they know it all.
but they
And
don't
Because I
let me say
remember.
this for a
Because
second.
I remember.
You see that guy Taekwondo? Look
Mm-hmm.
how many more teams he's going to be on.
None.
Unless he
He must
outright
go. He must go come in
beat.
at top three every time. If him,
Yeah,
if he come
he
fourth,
must
then
to be.
I care.
Yeah, look
you
how many other teams he's going. They're gonna
Must be
they
back top
oh,
three
and they're
all the
gonna
time.
swarm him. All these people there. There's nobody to say no. Give this
only
youth a break.
the
They're
athletes
gonna.
need a
Fir-
union. Only need a union. Only need a
Mhm,
union. And I'm
Yeah,
saying it
I'm just that's
publicly. The
you
Jamaican
know.
I
track
would
and
say they need
I
field.
an
just
organization. I don't want to use the word union,
you
but
Well,
yeah,
Need an
right,
whatever,
organization.
whatever.
right.
Somebody who
Just
can lobby
a
for
voice,
the
so they have a
athletes,
collective
a
voice,
voice,
yes.
right?
whatever, but
Mhm.
something is needed because I've seen this happen. I've heard athletes. I mean, athletes. Some athletes. When I'm going to interview them, the first thing they say to me is that Heather, I don't want to tell a real story because if I tell a real story, they're gonna sabotage my career.
Yep.
Athletes say that.
Mhm.
So if a lot of our athletes will really come out and tell the real story,
Yeah, I
Girl, you don't know
understand what
the
you're saying, and I agree with it because I have
girl, you don't
had
know
the
the
good, yeah, yeah,
you
true,
don't know the
true. But but given what we have said in the last 15 minutes, do you think that probably the J3 should have a like a CEO, whatever the position, a paid position, and some of the officers are we get real professional, not people doing it as a part-time thing.
hold on.
And
This is running the J3 is a part-time job. It's not a
no,
full-time
no,
job.
no,
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 they're
it's
no,
just
it,
part
volunteers.
time.
yeah,
According to them,
I
they're
think
They're
volunteers.
they're
volunteers,
part
right?
time. That's
No
not their
man.
job.
If they're volunteers, then we need a real body. Then we need a real
That's
And
not their
executive.
job.
but being a volunteer
See, the
shouldn't
thing
make you
is,
do it unprofessional, I mean,
people are
it's a
No.
not going to give
commitment.
up
It's
their
just a
position
commitment.
because they're going to
It's just a
not be able
commitment
to
that
get
you
the
have.
free trips.
thank you
No,
very much.
Yes,
no, we
yeah, they need.
need
It's the
Oh,
free
that
trips.
free chip is
It's the free
necessary.
trips, and don't forget, all the athletes get a specific amount of tickets. We never see what ticket them yet.
Oh, me never know
All
we get ticket. Come me never see none.
What sort of
we get
tickets you reckon?
tickets.
Me
tickets for
never see no ticket to get
I
nobody
went
in.
to there are tickets allotted,
Mm.
For
but the athlete them not get the tickets. I
Ellie,
remember and you get when we're in a village, they're like day passes that are allotted for like your family members. More
Mm-hmm.
time the athletes and family member don't get it. And them friend get it. They
Yep.
come greet, meet and
Uh-huh.
greet. Me know why you come in, me want my family.
Yeah, that's how it is.
we
But
need.
See,
it's the free tickets.
these officials.
Them not get
I
them
remember
spot.
I was at, I think it was at the 78th Commonwealth Games, and one of our athletes needed a rain suit. Remember those long time rain suit we used to wear, the plastic suit?
Hmm.
mm,
And
oh,
of course, he's competing it. He wanted a rain suit.
Mm-hmm.
And they told him they only have one, and that's the size this official wear, so he couldn't get it.
Mm-mm. Hey,
He's the
20.
one, he's the athlete competing, but he could not get the gear he needed to keep his body warm because
and
an
dry.
official wear the same size. The official competing,
Hold on.
I got
You
in
need an
trouble one
official.
year. 2011, I got in trouble because
Oh, Lord.
Veronica needed an extra pants. And
hmm
kill me dead, me I get Veronica the extra pants. Veronica needed an extra pants, and them tell Veronica say they not have no extra pants in her size.
You mean the
So
queen?
yeah,
can
yeah.
you imagine?
So me and two of my charging them. We break into the room where them have
Mine,
a store
I
the
will handcuff you.
a,
mine.
a store the gear. Me no business. Them a store the
That's
gear.
what this guy
And me
did.
go through the things
That's
and me
what
see an
the
extra
guy
small
did.
with somebody name on it. I don't know athlete name like one of them
To them
friends.
friends.
So me kindly take up the pants and some
Hmm.
extra stuff. Cause Veronica compete
Yeah, this
couple
guy
years.
did the same thing. I didn't
I
want
mean
to
never
say it.
want I
He
will not feel
just
to wash and wear. I may teeth them. And Veronica look at me and say, shh, don't tell
But
them.
but hold on, why you guys have to wash and wear your gear? When I get gear for
because
everybody.
they
Puma
save
pack
it
a
for
bag
their
for us,
friends and
but
family.
officials get access to the bags before us. And then after Puma
Hmm.
pack the bags, Puma give extras just in case we need extras.
Well,
You lucky you
Juliet,
get
hey,
extra. We get
Juliet, tell me,
one.
you know, come
Some
here and say,
people didn't get
Jules,
any.
me not get
One
this,
yeah,
you
top,
know.
one bottom. Wash
yeah,
and wear.
yeah.
At the
Campbell,
84 game,
Juliet
at
Campbell is responsible for our
for
gears because she work with Puma.
oh
Juliet
yes, yes.
say,
Yeah, we
Juliet
didn't
say
get any.
Puma pack with bag.
Pack
Each
the
of us
bag
get a
for
pack
us.
or a bag already packed
And
with our
then go
names
through the
on it.
bag before you get it.
And then go through with bag them and take out them things.
Hmm.
Remember, you know, when I was a junior, you know, Jamaica gear was the only way you see somebody in a Jamaica gear is if them
Hmm.
family met the team. I them
Hmm.
have a friend we slide them we met the team and get a gear. No, everybody and them
Everybody.
mother
Hmm.
because them get the gears through. Hey, them have storage closet at Jamaica dry rotten, you know.
Jeez.
Wow.
So alien, you had to wash and wear?
We have to
Mhm.
wash and wear. You know, but true, most of we come from country and we just hand washing at the sink.
Hmm.
And they have laundry facilities. More time them have laundry facilities. But if you
Hmm.
come in the night and the laundry facility not there, you have to wash
Wash
your
and
clothes
wear.
You're tired
and
or
hang
Like
it
I
up
anything,
was
and make
yeah.
saying,
it
you have
dry.
to put it under your pillow sometimes to dry it.
To
No man,
compete
it's towel like you wring it out in a
Hmm.
towel and hang it
to
up.
Hmm.
compete for the country the next day.
Yes.
Yeah, if you run out of gear, because remember say no, we're competing every day, so we don't have time to go to the laundry facility.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Hmm.
So,
And yeah.
you know, laundry, you do your laundry and you have your gear them you wear. But like you're happy if you run out and you don't get to do laundry because you're competing every single day. You have to
And
just hand wash the thing
yeah.
them
So
and
I
And
wanna go
training.
through a lot. This is why I don't judge the athletes. Them. I tell people every time I don't
Mm.
judge the athletes because sometimes we don't know the story behind the
yo.
scene.
So mental, hey,
And
Jamaican
what
athletes for us to go out and perform the way we do,
We are
it takes
abused.
mental strength. You know, not
Hmm. We're
understand the
abused.
level of stress
Hmm.
what them official they put with you.
and the situation now is better than it was 10 years or 15 years
Yes,
ago. So can you
it's
imagine what
better,
it was
and
then?
it's still bad.
Yeah, it's
The
still
It's
bad. Yeah,
still
stress.
there's
bad.
a lot of room for improvement. A lot of
Hmm.
room for
The
improvement.
stress what them put with you with certain things.
If I
Yo,
should
you not
tell you all
understand you
what
know how
happened to
stressed
me at
out.
the 84 Olympics, you all will be in shock.
Tell me a little part of it.
Beautiful.
Don't call any names though.
We can't call a name 'cause I'm dead.
Okay, okay,
We
okay.
we had a team manager, and they tell you, your flight information, whatever, whatever. And so you go to collect your ticket, and when you look at the ticket, it's totally different, and you already made arrangements uh, for where you're going for people to pick you up. I went in after the closing, but I didn't know that some guys had gone in before and ruffled this man feather. I went in, and when I saw what was on my ticket, I said, "But this is not what you told me." And I already made arrangement. I don't know what happened. I was slapped
Say
and have a
what?
concussion.
Hold
And
on.
this is,
Physically slapped?
I was slapped.
My God, I go dig him up and beat him.
I, my father and my two brothers were coming from Chilani to chop him up. Me have to beg them to stay at
No, you
Chilani.
should have let them chop him up. You should have
Me,
called
me,
me.
me
Hold
never
I
on.
want
never
my
bother.
Violence,
father.
violence,
No,
violence,
this
no.
man. No,
My
no.
father lived until 90. He would have ended up. My father and my two brothers were coming from Chilani to put him in pieces. I'm my father's last daughter.
My
I'm
God.
their baby sister. I was slapped.
Hold on. Somebody on the live, Dave Graham is saying HP is the same situation now because I see athletes giving away
Hey,
gear on IG.
hey.
Athletes doing
I
what?
remember 2009 World Championship, one official run up on me. in the
Mm,
airport like him want lick me. And
mm-hmm,
our airport official did I say, come hug me, cause kill me, did I kill him?
mm. I had a concussion. I remember Bert have me walking around and try to get him arrested. And whatever this, I still don't remember what happened. I'm going by what I was
So where
told.
was the president of the federation at that time?
Mike Fennell. And to top it off, one of the officials, he took some athletes, he and among some other officials, took some athletes to Europe right
Yeah.
after the games and left that. Well, let me before I get to that. And one of them said, all he had to do is to say that we had an affair and it was a lover's quarrel. This man was a married man. And his answer to it was to say, we were lovers and have a lover's affair.
So you would not have had a case.
No.
Oh my
That's
God.
what he said. All you have to do is say they had an affair. I was slapped. I had to beg
Ooh.
my father and my two older brothers
Yeah,
stay
should
in
I let them
Trelawney.
chop him up?
That wouldn't happen now. Not now.
Should
That
I
They
let
wouldn't
were
them chop
still.
him up?
that wouldn't happen now.
You see, if I never have the concussion, you would have read about me.
So were you able
And
to compete? Were you able to compete?
it was the last night we were getting ready to leave.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
So
I
come
took it.
Bert, them never run on pan him.
Me no know. I remember Bert having me walking me and try to get
Bert should
and
I
for
run on pan him?
Yeah, were
you
you
know,
able
If it's
to
that same
team?
person, no,
huh?
they're not gonna run. If it's that same person, they ain't gonna run. Nobody gonna run on him like that.
Where
You're
was the
crazy.
male? Where were your male teammates? Bert and Raymond Stewart and all of those
You,
people. Where were
you
they?
know, I don't
Those
even know
are the
because
things
I
we talk
I
about.
went in there with one of a female teammate to get our ticket. And what he said was that I was cursing and carrying on. Everybody know I don't curse.
Mm.
And that
Everybody
them
know
do
I
man.
don't curse.
Mm-mm.
Yes, I
That
was
them do.
cursing and spit was and he just turned my face. Tony Becker interviewed him and he said that his hand was still swollen. Oh, and they went to Jamaica and they covered it. Nobody said anything.
So
Foggy Bars.
he wasn't reprimanded or anything by the
He
J3s?
was sent on other teams.
Which part him bury? I could go dig him up.
Me not even know where.
You see?
Somebody said to me when he died, one of my teammates, he said, Dorothy, you're glad so and so that. I said, no. Because
No.
we had a very good relationship before. We went shopping the day before. When we go shopping, he could never know what size his wife was. He all said, Scott, what size you wear? Him said, okay, that's the size, man. So when they told me who it was, because I called, for some reason I remember the number in the village. And I called Vilma. I said, Vilma, what happened? I'm acting strange. And she told me, when she told me the name, I was in shock because he was one of them that we got along with.
And you see, this
You,
is a problem. This is one of the problems that I have.
mhm,
They are quick and ready to penalize athletes,
mhm.
but officials and the people who are
They
a
never
part
get
of the
penalized.
hierarchy can do
Mhm.
stuff and get away with it.
He
Let
was
me get
sent
some.
on other
Let me
teams.
tell you, tonight I am talking as a track and field fan. I mean, I tell you, them something here turn my heart.
You
It
know?
turned my heart when I hear about things that athletes go through and the federation
Yeah.
turn a blind
Mhm.
eye. Where
They
is the
covered it.
management team? Where is the management team?
You
Where are
know?
the people in charge?
The
Because I've
Ed
had
Barnes interviewed me because it was weeks after my coach before when it was Foggy Bars. And I went to school in Texas. Then after the Olympics, I went back to Texas, then to New York. And I don't know who told him. And he called me and I said, yes. And he said, but nobody's saying it. This was like 2 weeks after, and nobody was saying anything.
Boy,
So
no good.
he got in touch with Ed. Ed interviewed me on the air. Ed Barnes interviewed me on the
And did
air.
you speak up? Did you speak up about
Of
it?
course I did. And that's when my father knew. I didn't tell them before.
No,
What?
Yes.
the federation need to do
Hmm.
better because you have a lot of athletes out there. They are having issues and there's nobody to turn to. There's nobody to go to report
No.
their problem for it to be
I tell
investigated.
him
But
my
what they
father and
do,
my brother was gonna oh Lord.
Well, let me tell you
no,
something going on. There's another issue here, right? And as I listened to the Dorothy speaks and everything, I was trying to remember a conversation once I had in class. And while sports resonates with a lot of people and it causes unity and that sort of thing,
It also,
Mm-hmm.
there's
yes,
always going to be this issue of inequality and manipulation and exploitation.
education.
The reason
Mm-hmm.
being that the economics of most people who goes into sport,
Yes.
right, goes
The
below the
poor.
bar,
Just say it.
and
The
therefore,
poor.
and therefore,
The
right,
poor.
therefore, the people who
Some. Yeah.
manage this
Mm-hmm.
organization, where the people who make it up are from a challenged economic background, unless you have somebody there to speak for them and somebody with some sort of that humanitarian and that compassion, right? You're always going to have this because you have all of these people who are never been athlete, have nothing to do with any sports. They're being put in a position
Mm-hmm.
because of affiliation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's you move around. Then you have it is attached to government, and anything that is attached to government don't
No, you
always,
cannot
in
get
my
involved.
that is my
Mm-hmm.
opinion,
I agree
have
with
a
you.
good, yeah, sort of or
Yeah.
that perfume for me is just not that great.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's always going to be a problem. It's always because
Mm-hmm.
at no matter how great they're doing an international scene, no matter all the joy that they bring to the country, at the end of the day, they're always going to be this problem. It's like slavery never really abolished.
Yep.
Hmm.
True. Mm,
Yep.
true.
You're being enslaved by your own
Yeah.
people.
And
Yes.
they cover for each other.
They cover for
Yeah.
each other
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they
They
do it all
cover
the
for each
time.
other. You
Yeah.
know?
Because they're always
It's
going
just
these management people, they're always going to see themselves up there, and it's like they're doing you a favor because they're saying,
Mm-hmm.
well, they don't stop to think that is your job, and you have gone out there, you have toiled, you have been in the sun. I've been an athlete, I run, I play base softball, and that's what I know. You've been out
Mm-hmm.
there, you've been toiled, you make the sacrifice. You get up out of your
Hmm.
bed every morning and you go to stadium and you train from 4 o'clock and whatever it is. You leave and you go to
Mm-hmm.
school and you sleep out the whole of the class, and evening time you come back to train again and that sort of
Yeah,
thing.
you have no life. You have
Right.
no
So,
life.
but they
Hmm.
don't understand that, and all they're saying, you know what? He or she would never have been here if it wasn't for the association. So they really think with all your hard work,
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
they don't
They
see it
are
like it's
doing
like
us
you
a
have work
favor.
and you deserve to be
Mm-hmm.
there. They're just thinking that they're doing you a favor because by
Mm-hmm.
your own loathsome self, you would have never
Yeah.
gone to Budapest. You would have
But the
never
craziest
gone
thing,
to the
Mm-hmm.
we don't have to like we could there's like we can always run under the Olympic flag or the world championship. So you really don't need to be
But
affiliated.
they didn't have that back then. They didn't
Uh
Right.
have that
Right.
back then.
right.
You
uh
have to represent a country.
And
uh
Like
then now,
uh
like
Ellie,
like
the
the
Because
question
some
refugee.
is
athletes tried to do that in the 76, I think 76 Olympics because
mhm.
of the apartheid in South Africa.
right.
Hmm.
Okay.
And they couldn't. They have to represent a country.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
different then. You're right.
Right.
Hmm.
see,
So
On the live is saying, the athletes are the ones that brings in the revenue, which is true. We have
Hmm.
made some headway now with the athletes. So what the athletes need to do, she's saying what I'm saying, the athletes need to find their own support group, create a
yes.
support group. I don't want to use the word union again because you guys
Hmm.
don't like
Support
that
group.
word,
Hmm.
No,
but
well,
Support group sound good.
union is a good word, but it's just that some
yeah,
people have issue with union.
yeah,
Not gonna work,
And then
fine.
again, we are spread out, so we are all over the place.
yeah, but
You
But
know.
still,
you
but
still can
still,
Yeah.
have that. So
with
when
Not
the
gonna work,
technology
funny.
now,
so
with
like what
technology
happened,
now, yeah.
right? So like
Yeah.
what happened to Taekwondo Tracy now, where he said they took away they're going to take away his accreditation and have him leave like that. Now he would just forward that to the union, and the union say, okay, we will deal
Hmm.
with it. You don't
Yeah.
have to
Uh,
deal with it, but because
Eh?
there is no support, athletes have to be dealing with these
On your
situations
own.
on
Mm.
their own, whether they
Because he
deal
said
with it
his coach was there and the coach spoke to them.
His
But
coach
that
is
Who's his
a-
doesn't.
coach?
His
his coach
coach.
is actually one of the coaches on the team.
Oh, really?
O'Keel Stewart is his coach. He's one of the official coaches.
So
Wow.
the coach is called can't jeopardize his own thing. So you have to
Mm-mm.
that is a problem again
Mm-hmm.
because athletes individual coach ought not to be
No,
like, it
but
should be a
But
O'Keel
mutual
did,
thing.
because he said his coach spoke to Willow. So
yeah, so he
O'Keel
might
really
have spoken
just
out. Mm.
okay. O'Keel is the type of person that's not gonna just allow something like that. He's going to say something. So he already said something. But Imgo says they probably won't bring him back on another team because he defended his athlete.
That's the
Well,
point.
well,
Probably.
that's it too.
You
So
see,
So
yes, right.
And
we have this
Taekwondo will be left off. And is he in his 20s? How old
late
He's
is
fairly
I
he?
think
young.
so. I
I
Yes,
think
think
he's
he's
Oh,
20
late
something.
20s. Yeah, I think he's late.
mm-hmm,
I think
But you
he's
know
he
something?
made it close about
Late
that.
20s.
Someone in
mm-hmm.
the live is saying, Dave Graham is saying Athletes Federation. I know that they have it in cricket. Cricket have something
Oh
called
yeah, yes, yes.
what they call it, Weeper or something like that.
Weeper.
Weeper. They have
Right,
a
right.
federation
West Indies
for
Players Association.
where the players,
Mm.
yeah, they have a players association.
The
And
US athletes has one. US track
in
and the US
in
track athletes have
Jamaica,
one.
Jamaica, we need an athletes federation or something because we have it for
But
cricket in the
Yeah.
region. So I don't see,
I'll be back, folks. I'll be back.
okay, I don't see why
yeah,
we can't have that to protect because the athletes need protection. We can't just leave them, we can't just take away their rights. This is athletes, this
Leave
is
them up to
their
the discretion
career.
of Mass Bakra.
Yeah, you can't
But
leave
the
them.
thing is, we can
This is
create a
their career.
union and we can advocate. But if we're gonna advocate to like the IOC or the IAF, it's gonna take time. And we still won't be able, like, yeah, we can try to have a meeting with the J trees and have, but they're not gonna do that. So even if we did have an a athletes association that rally for the athletes, it still won't, it still will, nothing will happen within that short period of time. It's
No,
going to
it's
take
okay.
time.
No,
Yeah,
but
it
it
you
will,
will
you
yeah,
need
happen,
it
you have
will
to
but
take
for
start
the
time.
somewhere, though.
generations to come.
Yeah,
For the
Yeah.
Right, you have to
generations to
start
come.
somewhere,
yeah.
and
So even
with
if this crop,
mhm.
even if this crop of athletes don't benefit from it, then athletes in the future will benefit. So when stuff like this happen, instead of you alien facing the J trees, the president or somebody, how they do it in cricket is that if they have a situation, they go to Weeper and we, because we have a don't we have a coaches association in Jamaica? I think
Not
we
to my
have.
knowledge.
I think yeah, man.
I think
I
there's
think
a
I've heard of it.
coaches. Yeah, I think
Yes.
there's a coaches association in Jamaica. The athletes need an association to lobby on their behalf when these things, because we have to remember it is
But
the athlete's career and it is their legacy that people are tampering with because them get up in them feelings or in a, I can't
Mm-hmm.
believe that we have so many grown men running this federation and everybody get up in them feelings.
I agree.
Them
Mm-hmm.
sensitive bad.
And
Like girls.
these
They're
are
like
grown,
girls.
these are
Rest them
grown
girls.
men.
Mm-hmm.
Sensitive bad.
What kind of feeling thing you into? It's a
Yeah.
business we do, you know?
But
Oh,
if
Well,
just
either
for
you
but
must be
if
information,
they are
resigning.
not, but my thing is,
Taekwondo's
if the J trees are not doing, if the J cheers are not penalizing coach that young athletes have come out said they've been sexually assaulted by these coaches.
Here they know. That's another
If
topic.
if
Mm.
all right,
That's
if
all
they're
right.
another
not
This is
topic.
penalizing them from that
discussion for another
time,
Wow.
time.
You see, that's another
Oh
topic.
my
they're not gonna
God.
penalize them. No.
Everybody is afraid to talk about it. It is out there. It exists. And
Mm-hmm.
these are and
So
we're
if
not
they're
doing
not doing anything,
Then that they're not gonna do
that to
anything
that,
else.
they're not gonna do anything to this with this.
You see, this is Jamaica. The harsh
Well,
reality is Jamaican. Whether we like it or not,
I hate the
Yeah.
everybody,
term they
every,
say. I
eh,
hate the term said this is Jamaica. I
no,
hate the
hold on.
term.
The point,
Mm.
I'm not. That's what's part of the sentence. The other part is just that everybody got a connection to somebody, and so it's almost like
Yeah.
everybody is in somebody's back pocket. So I got a
Mm-hmm.
secret for
Mm-hmm.
you, you got a secret from me. So
Mhm.
therefore, and every notice, it's a cycle. And if you look in
Mm.
politics, it's the same thing that
I
happens.
was just
It's
up
a
in
cycle.
politics in the
Because
security
Organization.
forces,
If you notice,
in
even in
everything.
most organizations, if you notice, even in the
Mm.
organizations now, like most organizations now, it's almost like if you don't put on a foot from you go in, so don't wait until if 1 year into job you're trying to put your foot down. When you're going from now, make your position very clear. Because if you
Mm-hmm.
do that, if they start wrapping you around, you can't get out. And everybody knows everybody. So if you lose, so if you go to this one organization, don't matter go to the other one because everybody is telling everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
Nobody
Lizzie,
would have sent
Lizzie
on the
is
offend
saying,
anybody.
Lizzie on the live is saying, HP, all the athletes need to do is just bond together and speak out. Is that
True.
enough? Is that enough?
That's a start.
That's a
That's where they
start,
have to
Yeah,
start.
but
That's where they
some
have to
people
start.
are afraid to speak out because
but a
they're
lot of
afraid
people
that,
won't.
they won't make another team. And this is what they're counting on because a lot of people are afraid to talk. Everybody have big mouth like me.
How
Yeah,
can
but
And
we help them?
you
What
the
know,
can we
organization
help
that's going to be
them?
formed, it is not necessarily the current crop of athletes. It is the past
mm,
athletes, people like Aileen, people like you, who
mhm,
have been there. So there can be no sabotage because you already been there. You've been
yeah.
there. You have had the
Alright.
experience, and therefore you'll be guided by your experience. And a lot of athletes have turned out to be lawyers, doctors, accountants, everything.
Hmm.
You're guided by your
Goodness.
expertise. Yeah.
Goodness.
But you know what?
Because
Older athletes, they have told me, they would say, but Dorothy, they used to do the same thing with us. And I said, because y'all didn't do anything, so now we have to go
Hey,
through it. You
hey.
know? They didn't do anything. And
There's
now
a
we try to
specific
do something.
there's a
And then,
specific there's a specific older athlete that was the president at one time. And you would think she would go to bat for us.
President for
And she did not.
mm,
president.
wow.
So what is the problem?
Because
Why?
they want to get their trip. They want to make sure they still
There's
get their trip.
No,
look
but hold
there.
on. No, but if
Um
I am the president, it is not going to stop me from getting my trip if I do the job.
dude,
Mhm.
they
So
kick out.
why are you not doing your job?
Remember
And
now,
you're still getting a trip. Why are you not doing your job?
Carmen Clark, God rest her soul. She was a member of the JHU, you know. And you know how she lost her status in there?
Speaking
uh,
out.
Because she's too, what is it, boisterous?
vocal,
Is that the word?
Hmm.
vocal.
Hmm.
Yes.
But Auntie Carmen loved us. Like she loved us. Like she loved us, and she will fight on the feet. She will fight for us.
Hmm.
She fought for us. Cuthbert was a
Wow.
part of the J3, and then Cuthbert was too outspoken.
Yeah,
Them couldn't
Cuthbert is
handle her.
Juliet. One thing with
Hmm.
Juliet
Oh yeah,
Cuthbert,
Juliet will speak
Juliet
her
don't
mind.
Juliet Cuthbert
Eh?
don't mince words. You understand? She don't
Hmm.
mince words. If you are gonna do the job, you get the job done. Or
But you
And
need
even
more. You need more like her.
but
yes,
you
You
have,
need
but you
more.
you have Miss God, why am I drawing a blank with her name? She is a current member of the J3, and she was a former athlete. Can't remember her name.
Charlton.
Yeah,
Charlton.
Miss
She's
Vilma.
a
Miss Vilma now do nothing for it.
Vilma is a peacemaker. Vilma not gonna do. Vilma is
she's
a
a
peace. But
and
she's
that's
a
the
vice
thing.
president
Freighter is a vice president.
yeah.
and
Hmm.
coach.
All
Yeah.
right, this is how I am going to say, and this
Yeah,
is
but
So
you
you
know what?
have
We don't want to
people in
start
a
calling
yeah.
name, especially for the current people, because you don't want to feel like you're attacking them or anything like that. But,
Hmm.
but,
If
but, honest, I get. But the point is, the
The athletes.
what do you call it now? The word come out of my head. Um, the oh Jesus, when the contradiction comes
mm,
when you are part
Hmm.
of this and then you're coaching,
Yeah.
you're in too many things. You
Yeah.
don't, you cannot.
You're
It's
part
hard
of
to remove
both
the
worlds.
bias, and that's the
Yeah.
Hmm.
problem. The
Yeah.
problem is that
It
everybody's
can
so
it
caught up into a piece
yeah,
of
we have a big
everything.
problem with nepotism. We have a big problem with
Hmm.
that.
Yeah.
Have a because I
but
mean, even with Mr. Wilson, he cannot understand how he got caught up in this thing. But a lot of
You
people are
can't
looking. A
understand.
lot of people looking at it as conflict of interest. You are
Right,
the
that's
but
the
it's
word I'm
his
looking for.
athletes.
you
It's
know,
his athletes,
and
when I met the team,
that's what
a
I'm
Yeah.
team
saying.
athlete when
And he
coach and
can't
everything.
understand.
The
The
So
man
how
are
him not
playing food for
understand?
cats.
he's
Wise,
saying his
please.
integrity is based on what Oral Tracy said in his video that his integrity is now being questioned. But he
He
should
should have thought
readily
about that
see
before.
how he would
He
get
did
caught
it
up in
before.
this.
He did it the last time, and nobody spoke about it.
Yeah,
The
that's
four
what
by
I
four,
heard. This
don't
is
it?
not the first time.
Four by him do
And,
it
and
enough time.
and that's what I'm
Wow.
saying.
And he's still there. And now he's technical director.
And that's what I'm
So
saying. You have
he's
to
being
choose.
rewarded for bad decisions. So what is gonna change? If you have a child and the child is misbehaving and you say, okay, no worry about that, here's the icement, you think the child gonna change his behavior?
Mm-mm-mm.
He's
But
not.
you
Here, the
So he's
problem.
being rewarded for his bad behavior.
Only the J3A can correct all of these issues that we're having. The J3As need to understand sport as a business, and they need to appoint a management team, people who understand marketing, people who understand psychology, sports psychology, sport law. Those are the things organizing.
Mm-hmm.
They need to lead. You understand? Lead, they need to lead. Management is about leading, organizing, and all of those fancy things, and they are not doing those
Mm-hmm.
things. They need
Mm.
a management team. They need people who have a passion for the sport and want to see Jamaica
Committed,
evolve, because track and field Jamaica is a brand,
a
and
Yeah.
passion, and a
Yeah.
and it's
committed,
not
and a
evolving.
committed
It's
to the
not,
cause.
yeah, it is not evolving. They need to appoint a serious management team and give people portfolios.
Crazy thing is, I
Yeah,
remember Donald Quarry had the same position as Willow at one point,
yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
they didn't like how Donald was treating us because Donald was in my former athletes. I understand the struggle,
Yeah.
but them never like the fact that he gave us a voice, and we had a we were able to give our opinions on stuff. They never like it, and from that Quarry, no, them not select Quarry for
Didn't
nothing.
make no more team.
But the federation is about the
And
athletes.
he tried to run for presidency, and everybody go against him.
I remember.
Yeah,
I
Mm-hmm.
but
Look
when you
here
say
now.
everybody,
I've been
but
watching
most
my
of the,
TV
but
and
most of
listen to
the
the liaison
most of
officer.
the
And from
members
I
are
listen to the
past athletes, So it's the same past athletes who
Here's the
probably
thing:
would. Mm,
there's half of us. I'm a member of the J3 and I know nothing.
mm.
So I stop paying my dues. Me I pay my money every year and I know nothing. I don't
Mm-hmm.
get a news bulletin. I don't know. We found out say election a happen. Not even we as somebody pinch me and say we say election. But you know how much money for buy a ticket when election are next month?
Last minute. Mm-hmm.
Last minute ticket expensive. So the
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
people then what we had votes, we had so we and then when we realized that we are say, okay, J3, do you have an option for us to either
Vote online.
a
vote
proxy.
online
No,
or
they don't
mail
want
in
no
we vote?
online.
They don't
Mm-mm.
have that.
No. You have to be there.
Half I mean
Crazy.
a lot of
In this
athletes are
in this day
worldwide,
and
like we're
age,
all over the place.
yeah, right. In this day
Mm-hmm.
and age, that's crazy. That's ridiculous.
Look here. So the problem with
Yeah.
J3A, you listen
That's
to the TV
ridiculous.
and listen to the liaison officer and see if you don't get your answer.
They're
Right?
That's
stuck in the they're
What
stuck in the
liaison
past. They
officer?
don't have nothing. The
I was
J3A website
selected
is
one
just
time as a liaison officer. What was I supposed to liaison and nobody to tell me nothing? I was a liaison, me and Anthony Davis and Mr. Digo. That time I never used to talk. I said, Digo, then choose the two people that don't talk.
mm.
Then I was quiet. Believe it or not, I was quiet back then. There was nothing to because them not tell me nothing.
Then
they
that's the
don't tell you
problem.
anything.
It was
This,
only in name.
So
this is very sad. We're
you,
at a
you have to
sad
dig and
place,
probe.
and
Yeah,
our athletes are suffering. Our athletes are
Uh,
being
we
left
are.
out. Our
And
athletes
despite
are
that,
being
we are
left out
still
in the
doing
cold.
well.
We
Yeah,
are doing
Despite
badly.
that, we are doing. Look at today. I screamed so loud today.
five
It's
medals
like
in one
men
day.
long jump, men long jump,
Look at the
three,
long jump.
second, third, and fourth.
Look
I
here.
have never competed with a second person in the long jump. It
right,
was
right.
always me
Yeah, it's
alone.
always one person. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
And look at
Oh
yeah.
the
And
man.
the Greek guy beat him on the last
the
jump.
last
Oh
jump.
yeah.
All three
You
of them
know,
See, I
finished
wish they
in the
went
top
back to
four.
bringing the qualifying jump over to the
no, they
final.
don't do. They go to the next best jump, and the
Yeah.
what the guy named the
That
Jamaican guy was leading, even though
Wayne
they had
Pinnock.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
second best.
Wayne
Yeah.
Pinnock. But when the guy did his last jump, he
Yeah.
yeah.
beat
Yeah.
him.
I
You
was.
know, James Beckford talk about that one good jump, one good jump
Yeah,
is all you need. And Dorothy, you know that because that's your
yeah.
event.
Yeah.
In college, because I was doing the 100, the 200, the 400, and the sprint medley, the 4x4, the 4x1, I would take one jump. I would do one jump and I would monitor the long jump pit. And if nobody's coming close, with most of the time I was jumping like 21 and the next person was jumping 20.
Oh,
And I
you
would
guys
just,
were jumping. What was it at that time? Is yards or something like that?
Oh, it
I
was
think it's
feet and
feet,
meters,
feet.
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 Your
that's
Okay.
all they
feet.
use in US.
Yeah,
Feet, no
yeah, yeah.
metric.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
not using
that's all
metric
they use
system.
in US. I
Mm.
mean, I know nothing about metric.
Okay,
So
okay.
I would monitor the long jump, go do the 100 meters, come back to the long jump, anybody pass me, then go do another event and come back.
Mm.
You know, that's how I did. But you just need one. I remember this. My biggest rival was a girl in the same town, and they did an interview, and the coach said, "Oh, that girl from TW, she always just take one good jump and beat them. I want to make my first jump the best one, but that was at collegiate level. When you get
Mm.
higher, you better take
Mm.
It's a
all your
different
jumps.
thing. It's a
Right,
Yeah.
different
yeah, you
thing.
can.
You
Yeah.
better
Mm.
take all your jumps." But
Yeah,
that's how I did it.
that was how Hibbert came up with the name one jump Hibby or something like that. They call it
Yeah,
one jump Hibby. Just
you
one
get
good
that
jump
one
now.
good jump, and especially if you have to compete in all these other events,
Mm. Right,
you know.
you have to
Yeah,
manage your effort and your energy.
yeah,
Yeah. Mm.
at
Yeah,
the
it's a
state
lot.
I did the 100, the 200, the long jump, the 400 and the medley, the 4x1, and finished the 400 and have to chase down people. I got it fourth distance and chase down people
You must
and
be a bear
finishing up
girl.
second.
You must be
Eh?
a bear girl.
You have to be a very girl and
Hey,
a Chilani girl.
we have to learn how to do every event.
Yes. But
But
surprise, I didn't do the four in high school. I would dodge.
oh
And then we
wow.
had good court, so they didn't need me. But when they, oh, Dorothy wanna know you, and then they ran open 4x4. Then they didn't run by class. Oh
Okay.
Lord, I'm
Okay.
aging myself.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
But I don't know. All I have to say now
But
is that our athletes really perform well on I mean,
yeah,
All that
situations
we
that
go
le-
through.
we don't
less
even know anything about. You guys
less
are,
than
Hmm.
ideal conditions.
yeah, you
Yeah.
Less
guys
than
are going
ideal.
through so much.
Um.
And this is why I keep
Hmm.
telling people, I will tell the fans, do not judge the athletes because we
No.
don't know
No.
their story. We don't know
Yeah.
what is
Yeah.
happening behind the scene. We don't
Yeah.
know the stress they're going through. We don't know the harassment that some of
Because
these
most
athletes
of
are
us
going through.
don't talk about it.
Because
That's
we
Mm.
don't.
Most of
exactly,
us don't talk.
exactly.
Because
And
you know what will happen if you talk. So
yes,
they keep doing it, and then they say, "You see that girl that she had troublemaker and appear trouble she give on the team, you know,"
yeah.
and they don't know why you're labeled a troublemaker.
We have to
Yeah.
find a voice for you
No, you're
guys.
right. You're
The,
right.
the, the J3s really need to take a long look at the federation, look at
Yeah,
other
man. The
federation,
structure,
and
the whole,
yeah, the whole
yeah.
structure.
The
There's no
structure,
real
right.
structure.
It
There's no
to
real structure.
yeah. We
They
need
need,
something that is a fit for today, not
if it's,
something that
yeah,
existed 20 years ago.
if
You
it's
know,
Mhm.
even to look at another country and look at their model, look at the model that
not
they're
wrong with that.
using, and
Right.
nothing is wrong with
And see
that,
what we can take from it.
and see what we
And bits
can
of
do.
right
But
Mhm.
and
But they have
use.
access to those organizations because literally all
Yeah.
the federations all the heads of federations are at the championship. So if we want to see
Mhm.
what the
Support.
US
Right.
if you want to see what the US does with their thing, like we literally can have a conversation with the US president, USA Track and Field president, because
CEO is
he or
CEO.
she is
Mm.
there. Same
Yeah,
thing if the
but
you
a
know
lot of information can be had just by going on their website and
Mhm.
looking and see
True.
how the structure, the organization
it
structure,
nice.
yeah, just go on the website and there's a lot of things you can pick up
so
And the
I
thing
and
is
see
like
what.
so
and that's a way for J3 is to like create like something for like our kids because there's a lot of web designers in Jamaica. There's a lot of high
Mhm.
college kids um
Yeah,
that can run all them have to do I give them a little
all they
what
need to do
five
is
thousand
get
Mhm.
Jamaica dollars a month
yes,
to run the
yes.
Yeah.
website
this is what
and
Mhm.
Eileen just mentioned there. What something that bother me. We say we are passionate about track and field. There's if I want to find out the top 10 performers in the 100 women's 100 meters, I have to go to World Athletics site and dig and there's
Or
nothing
Google,
on the
yeah.
Yeah.
J3.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
Who are we top juniors? Who are we top? Nothing is
Yeah,
there.
no
And as
data.
you
Mhm.
see,
There's no
it's
database.
it's
Yeah.
fairly simple. It's fairly simple. We
It
can,
is it is very sad.
to set up.
It is very sad. But in
Um,
closing though, in closing, I'm going to
yes,
ask a
yes.
question and I want to hear all of you take on it your thought. My question is, or my thought is, what can we do as a country to improve track and field in Jamaica and to support the athletes the way that they're supposed to be supported? I'm going to give Dorothy the go ahead to go first.
Oh, improve track and field.
Yeah, the
Wow.
first thing I can think of is become a member of the J3, go to the meetings, help to select the officials, not all officials, what they call themselves, whatever. Help to
Mm.
select those because that's where the problem lies. You know, try to, as many as you that try to become a member of the J3. I don't, Aileen, how much it costs to be a member? I don't even remember.
The
And the
last time I think it was 2,000 Jamaican dollars a year.
Yeah,
and the
but
But
then
I
again,
don't think it's not open. J3's membership is not open to the public.
yeah,
Right.
You
I
have
It
was
is
to,
just
not.
about to say that.
yeah.
I
Right.
think they say you have to be an Olymp
But they need
and
to
you
open
have
it to
to
the public.
represent, right, represent Jamaica at a certain level.
Right. Or
But
have contributed in some way.
yeah, I
Right.
just
That they
remember
specify.
after I said
Mm.
that, I just remember that. But it starts with the J3. And these sport analysts out there, the sport supporters, they need to hold their feet to the fire. Because
Yeah.
even this
Right.
this thing with taekwondo, they shouldn't just let them sweep it under the rug. Question them, talk about it, talk about, make
Get the
them
facts. Get the facts.
uncomfortable,
Get the
make
facts.
them
Get the facts.
uncomfortable. So they have to change their ways. If nobody say anything to them, they're gonna think, oh, we can always do this and always get away with it because nobody cares.
Hmm.
The public have to show they are aware of it now. Before people weren't talking, it's all over YouTube, and it's embarrassing.
It
It
is.
is very embarrassing as a Jamaican,
It
not just
is.
a Jamaican former athlete. As a Jamaican, it is very embarrassing. So they need to dig until you get the answer you want. They have to answer at some point. They can't keep running. First of all, they can't even walk fast words to run. You know, so they have to be questioned,
Miss,
hard questions.
Miss Dorothy, you're a troublemaker, I know.
Me know that. Me
Not
know that.
Dorothy.
Me know that.
Good point, though. Good
Support.
point. Good point. I'm just
Yeah.
teasing you. Ozzy, your
Yes.
time, Ozzy.
Oh
Your
Lord.
thoughts.
Well. Some of what I was thinking, Dorothy has already covered. But um, from where I sit as a fan, a die-hard fan, programs like this, what we're doing here, voicing our views, opinions, at least
Mm-hmm.
is a start. I mean, I'm sure there are some who will watch the videos and will, provide support by whether by telling their friends about it. Oh, go watch this or what. Good discussion took place. This is a start. This is something that we can easily do. Um, Further support. I know there's always a need for financial support. We call on corporate Jamaica. Um, I have mixed views about corporate Jamaica. Sometimes people chastise them and say they don't this, they don't do that. But we're a small country. The economics is not so good. And Jamaica is
Mm-hmm.
trying to be competitive and a bundle of sports. I mean, some
Yeah,
sports I
that's
didn't know we're
true.
still competing in, and it's the same corporate entities we're going to and all that. But I still think they
Mm-hmm.
can do better.
Yeah,
Um,
they
the
can.
J3A, I think, no, this is directed at them. A suggestion to them. I think they need to look at the structure. They need to look at the listen to the athletes, listen to the athletes.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have any position, they don't have any worth without the athletes. Listen to the athletes and see, how better. In fact, the J3 should have even suggested to the athletes if they don't have that body. Suggest to them, form yourself in a body so we can communicate. World Athletics has something like that. They have a where the athletes have a voice on certain committees and
Yeah.
can interact and talk to them and all that. J3 shouldn't be afraid of something like that. Encourage it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
True.
some of the things that come readily to mind right now.
Charmaine?
Well, you know what? I concurred what Dorothy has said and Ozzy has said. And just to add that I think it is, and let us reiterate some of the points that we had made earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And it is very important that all the former athletes, it is something that they need to think about and think about ways how they can come together. Because at the end of the day, we really want the best and they want their
Exactly.
legacy to continue. And
Yeah.
J3A, in my opinion, kind of need to look at their operations as to how they operate. And even a thing like the database and simple information
Simple.
should be readily available.
Available.
Um,
Yes.
so they just really need to revisit the modus operandi and
Mm.
um, and put the best foot forward, because this is a brand. This brings in revenue for Jamaica, right? And there's so many young athletes coming up, and we can only look for more and greater things. The question
Yeah.
is, how do we want to market ourselves and benefit from all of this? And we don't want this negativity, because what Taekwondo Tracy is doing, it's a good thing because people need to know and he has his rights. But you don't want
Yes.
to distract from all the other performances that are
Right.
happening.
Exactly.
And it almost seems like every time there is an event, things like this happen.
To the
It just
track.
seems like this is just a part of every sporting event for us. And
Drama.
I don't know if J Trade is doing anything to avoid these things happening. Who is the person there who is responsible for dealing with things like these before they escalate into the public space?
Mm-hmm.
That's just my thing.
True.
Aileen,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Clean house.
That
Good good
good,
luck on
good,
that.
good. You hit the nail right there. Yep.
That's all I got. Clean your house.
Yeah.
Clean the house.
Yeah,
The
that's
house just needs to be clean. It needs to be refreshed. Some new curtains, some sofa, some comfortable space, and you
Yeah.
know, rebrand it
mm.
so that it looks attractive and people want to,
And
be
Be
functional.
a
a
part
part
and
of it.
invest and allow like kind of what we're having now.
Aileen phone ringing.
Kind of like what we're having now. Have discussions with the athletes. Like literally they can do like a Zoom and send it out to all of us and have a conversation. What it is that we can do to better provide what the athletes need. Not for just
Yeah.
the senior athletes, but for our babies that are coming up. Because I've gone through the process. I really don't need anything. I just want to make sure that we have stuff in place for the younger kids that are coming up.
right.
So
True.
Well
me me
said.
me me try and link up few of the people them and see if them feel for better. But I am always, available for conversations just to, you know, see what we can do to make this better so that we avoid having these things. And have people in place that can, a mediator. When something like this happen, you can sit down and have a conversation. Because I understand some adults have egos, and even if you're calmly talking like this to them, they feel that you are disrespectful.
Right.
But
Exactly.
then again,
Especially
no.
especially if you're younger.
Yes. But then
And
I can
female.
be talking respectful, but then my facial expression could be disrespectful because I can't control what my face do.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you guys are right. You've hit all the right spots. We need to clean house.
Clean house.
We need to understand that this is a business. It's not recreation. It's a business. It's people's career. And there need to be a professional structure. There need to be a professional structure where things are done in a professional way and not based on how people feel. That's not what we're about. The
Right.
policies must be written. Policies and procedures
That
must be
must be
written
And
by the
clear.
right
Right.
by the organization and must be adhered to, no matter who it is. This
Exactly.
is not about how you feel. This is not about how you feel. We don't want that. We want things to be done based on, and we really need it. We have to go keep pushing the J3s until we start
Yeah.
seeing these changes. And
Because you know
again,
what? The thing is that do they
athlete,
want her athletes to do the same thing that Mommy Merlin do? Suppose all of the athletes them start cut like Merlin. What am I
okay,
gonna do?
okay. Yeah.
Heaven forbid.
Athletes start moving on. Suppose athletes
Yeah.
decide that, look, as it is right now, you can compete for other country. I will get better treatment here, so let me go here. We
You
have
think they care?
Well,
I don't think they care.
you're right,
They're not
Charmy.
care.
They don't
But if
care.
all we cut, if everybody cut, then I got can't go now.
Then
Listen,
right, them stay at home and watch.
I was on, somebody was on my program a few weeks ago, and a former athlete, and he said, HP, I think what the athletes need to do, they need to strike.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Um,
That's why
That
I
was
didn't
what
want the
he,
word union, but
that is what he said, a former athlete. He said that Heather, the athletes need to strike.
Yeah,
One
that's true.
season, them just decide, so them not go no championship.
Hmm.
Mhm.
well, let's hope it don't get
So, and that's what I'm
to that
saying.
state,
Let's
you
hope
know.
it
Mm.
doesn't get to that. But
Yeah.
J3As need to understand that they are working for the athletes. The
Mm.
athletes comes first.
Mhm.
Whatever you do is supposed to be in favor of the athletes, especially when they're competing for the country. When they put on that kit, they are our responsibility
Hmm.
totally. And we
And
don't
I
want we
think,
don't want to
sorry.
have coaches going on
Hmm.
the team and feel like because you talk to me with a tone, I must throw you out of the camp. No,
Hmm.
not because we don't agree. We don't always
Mhm.
have to agree. So we need some professionals to run the thing. And I'm not saying people cannot employ their friends, but if your friend now go do the job, you need to
Job
get rid of
exactly,
your
Nah.
friend.
exactly right.
I
And
will give
I
my
think the
friend a
minister, I think the minister has to get involved too. It's under her portfolio, and she must have heard all
Um,
these complaints. You know, we don't want to bring politics, but this fall
yeah,
under her wing. So she, I think
mm,
she needs to find out what is going on.
Yeah, she need to have a
You know?
discussion with them. She need to call them into her boardroom and said, "Look,
Yes.
this is the ministry designated for sport. What are we doing over here? What is
Hmm.
happening with track and field? Why is this
mm,
not happening?" If you look at the championships right now, you can see a lot of countries evolving in the sport. I see a
Yes.
country like Japan. Japan was in every race. Japan in a
Yes, they're doing
100,
very
Japan
well.
in a 200,
Yes,
Japan in a 400.
they're doing
You
very
understand?
well.
Japan is evolving. They are in event.
Hmm.
We are still stuck in the
The
sprints.
sprints.
And
no,
of course, we're getting
we're getting
better
out. We're
in the
getting out.
field.
We're
We're
getting
getting
better.
We're
We have
getting
we're
better.
something
getting
to
out
that.
a little bit. We're getting
Mm,
out a
Yes.
little bit,
Mm.
but we should have been further. We should have
Mm,
yeah,
been
that's
farther.
true.
We should have been
Yeah.
Jamaica should have been farther in the middle and long distance.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
We are
The
But
middle
taking
remember,
distance.
steps.
in the 19 or 48, 52 Olympics, they were winning gold medal in the 800.
Okay.
You
And
know?
64
400
Olympics.
and eight
George
hundred was
Star,
where we
George
started
Star
Yes.
again.
in 64 Olympics won a bronze medal.
You
You
know?
understand?
So now we just sprint,
Never mind.
sprint,
In
sprint.
1964 was world junior record
Oh
holder in
yes,
the 800
I think he
meters.
still has that record. I think he
Listen,
still has that record.
No,
listen.
The Jamaican
He
under
has the
20 record.
Jamaican. Hmm.
We have so many athletes doing well at boys and girls champs. 'Cause that's where I would say that's where we officially start. That's where
Yeah,
we start champs.
right. That's
And I've
true.
seen so many athletes run. They run 5,000, they run 3,000, 2,000 steeplechase, they run 15,8, and they run it well at champs. But when they leave school, there is no system to filter them into so that
Yes.
they can further develop
I
that
Right.
mean, just
talent.
just
That's
remember,
true.
there's college in the US that will take the kids. It's just that it's hard to these
It's
days.
hard.
It's hard
Yeah.
to get kids from Jamaica to the US
In those
So,
events.
in
and that's
those
the
events
thing, and that's
Yeah.
the
because
thing. If
the coaches are not making the kids readily available. The kids are not being
Mm.
prepared academically to be
I was
able to.
about
So,
to
so
ask
even
that.
if a school interested in them, they don't
They
have
don't
the
have the
academics
grades.
all right,
Hmm.
so the plan
accolades
B,
to
so the
be able to.
so the plan
no,
B,
but
if
it's a mandate, you know. It's a mandate. You
Mm.
really even
But
enter the champs. You really there should be
should
some
have a
you
there's
should
some
have an
minimum
average.
requisitions. Yeah,
Yeah.
academic.
it's a mandate.
Right.
But
Yeah,
as
but
we
for high
know,
school and college,
But
it's
the thing
different.
is, like, high
You
school
know.
and college is different. So,
You
like,
know.
subject when the kids them supposed to take is like a math, a science, a
Hmm.
social science, and a
English.
couple other subjects.
Hmm.
Mm.
They're not preparing the kids for that because not everybody can stay in Jamaica
Right.
and become a Usain Bolt. Some need the opportunity, other opportunities go elsewhere. But like I said, it's like what me learn is that if you're not give most of the Jamaican coach them, if you're not slide them little money, or if you're not give them gears or something, you don't
Them
have
not
access
sending
to
the
those kids.
athlete.
And
So
Wow.
that is why
those athletes who would have had an opportunity, and a lot of times athletes, the coaches whole on the scholarship
I've
for
heard
the
that.
athletes
I've
and don't
heard
give it
Oh
to
that.
them.
I've
wow.
heard that. I've heard that coaches
And
deny
and
their
I follow what you're
athletes
saying
from
there.
taking up scholarships abroad. I've
So,
heard.
so there's like
And
so
this
those are
is
like a
where,
lot of things that the J3s need to pay
yes,
attention to
and
and be involved in.
ISA
And
too
it's
need to get involved. I don't see why a
But
coach should have that amount of power in a child taking up a scholarship
yeah,
overseas. It
yeah, I
should
don't
be between
understand
the
that.
parents and the
Right,
school.
exactly.
Yeah.
You understand?
hmm
So we have a lot of work
Wow.
to do. And I've heard this. This is not a make-up story. I've heard this from student athletes at top high schools say them coach refuse to sign the paper for them to take up the scholarship abroad.
But the
I've heard
coaches
that.
don't
Wow.
have to. They're underage. Half of the time Jamaican kids are 18. They just
Because
need a sponsor over it. They just need a sponsor.
and a lot of times they look to the coaches because their parents, some of the parents are not as involved as they
Right,
should
right.
be. So the coach is the one who makes sure them all right, them get to school, them eat. Some parents have never gone to watch them children
Yeah,
run.
which I find
You see,
strange and
I was
surprised. Yeah,
that's what I
yeah,
was saying. ISA
it's
has a academic requirement. I think you have to have a particular grade average or something like
average,
that
right?
to even
Yes,
run into the boys and championship.
compete. Yeah.
But again, it comes back to that point. Like I said, I had in a classroom once where we were talking about education and and because a lot of these athletes are from challenge socioeconomic background,
Mm-hmm.
hmm
and the parents don't read, they themselves sometimes the athletes are not really reading, they are not properly informed, and therefore
Yes.
they are not making informed decisions
Decisions
about, and
exactly.
you rely on people who knows your challenge and therefore sometimes exploits the situation. So if you're not making yourself, if you're not an exceptional athlete, and therefore you exclusively, you know that the
Hmm.
choice is really up to you, or in the your fate is really is in your hands, you're going to find issues like these
And
all
this
the
is
Yeah.
time.
why, and
Which
this
is
is
why
why,
the J3 should
Charmaine,
be going into these schools and having like these
seminars and stuff.
these seminars. Like, okay, here's this. So so I mean, I saw where Inez and a couple university went to Jamaica, but they were in one set place, and look like the coach only bring them best athletes to be able to involve in that. But if the J3 as an organization literally go into have somebody, a liaison that goes into these schools and be like, these are the things that you would need if you don't want, if you
But-
choose to stay in if you
Right.
choose to stay in Jamaica. These are the trade schools. If you're not at UE and UTech level, these
You
are
Right.
take
the trades that you have access to. If you're at the level where you can get into a school, these if you want to go to school in the US, these are the criteria that you need to have.
We need to help them. And this is why I keep calling for educating student athletes so they understand contract. What is a contract? What am I signing? Let them understand taking up a scholarship. What do I need to look for? Let them understand in management, injury management, how to manage their emotions, how to manage their mental health, how to manage investment. We're not teaching them anything. We just send them out there, go run and expect them to figure it out. And when
Yeah.
they make decisions that is not in their favor, we judge them. We sit one side and we judge them when we have not taught them anything. We have not
or
taught them how to navigate through this through the sport or in life or anything like that.
or by the time they figure out what is really going on,
Too
it
late.
is so bad, and then
Bad.
things get
Yeah. Things
very
gone bad.
ugly,
Right.
and reputations are marred by from things saying on both
Yes,
sides and that
yes,
kind of way.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. But guys, I love this discussion and I would love to do it again. And anybody who knows me know that I am always in favor of the athletes. The athletes come
Yeah.
first for me.
Yep.
The athletes come first.
Yeah.
And sometimes when athletes will lash out a certain way, people quick to judge them. But I said you don't know what that athlete have gone through
Mm-hmm.
in order for them
Yeah.
to react like that. So before you say they're disrespecting you or they're disrespectful, find out what led
Get the
them
facts. Get the facts.
to to that. I remember just quickly, I remember last year Antonio Watson was still in high school when he won a champs, and he made a sign to a certain
Year, be-
athlete when he
year,
crossed
year
the
before
finish
last.
line. And is the year before last 2021 or last year?
Yes.
Year before last.
Year before last.
2021. Okay. And the comments, some comments that some people were saying, and I said to them, no, this is not how you rehabilitate someone.
Mm.
But
Talk to
we've
the
been,
young man. Talk to the young man. People were saying all kind of things, and
but that's crazy though. That's something that I used to cut off people neck in girls'
that's
camps.
what I'm saying. You guys are
And
young.
I shot a few people in girls' camps.
That's what I'm
They
saying.
dead
You
now.
guys are young. You don't understand certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Call
But it
them
was
one side and say, look, this might not look good, but don't instigate or initiate that you throw them out of the sport or
Ah.
you have them
Yeah.
locked up
No,
or
that
you
won't help.
throw them. No, that
what
will not help them. Rehabilitate them and let them know that, look, you're at a
Right.
certain level, this is what we expect from you, you are now becoming a brand, and this is how and that is how. But
but all he did was
He is
mimic
now a
history,
brand.
you know. All
yeah,
he did was mimic history.
yeah,
So
Mm.
they can't penalize him and jump on him. All he did was mimic history. A
They
lot of
can.
time, KC, Calabar boy, them win something, them shoot the Calabar crowd there, so the KC crowd there, so and then point
Mm-hmm.
them gun finger, KC man point him gun finger to the Calabar crowd, or him run cross the cut off neck
Mm.
type thing.
yeah,
But
we
it
just
was just,
Wow.
it don't literally mean them are gonna do that. It's
yeah.
just, it's
You see,
how the history of high school track and field is like. We literally, when we are go on the line and say, yeah, we're about to cut off everybody head right about now,
yeah,
but we don't
just
literally mean it.
Eileen,
Mm-hmm.
in um, unfortunately, there have been some physical
Oh yes,
interactions. Let me
I've
call it
yeah,
that
I've
way
seen
between
that.
And
I've
schools
seen
in
and
the
that.
I saw
stud
that this year, and
because of sports, because of champs.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, have
but
cut
my
and
chance never did space.
no, 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 not then. But there have been
No, but like
boy, man of
boys and girls
run
champs
for them
back
life.
when I was competing in
Yeah,
boys
yeah,
and
yeah,
girls champs,
yeah.
it's never been an issue where I've
But
seen bumps and elbows in races, and it's
mm,
never an issue where them cross the line and somebody come and chuck up the next person.
mm. But
We we
Eileen,
we were better able to handle, or I don't know if they're not, our kids are not able to better handle like their aggression and learn how to not react
But
violently or
Yeah,
yeah,
aggressively.
but alien, without great respect, it's a different era now. It's a different
totally
Uh,
time,
different.
and
Totally different.
and
It's
and
true because mm-hmm.
people a lot of people are more into internet as opposed to reading. Reading have a way to kind of tranquilize brain and inform you, and make it you're able to rationalize certain things. The
yeah.
materials that that people consume and the younger generation consume, and I say younger, right? Because when Dorothy was running, I was 8 or 7. So
Thank
I'm
you,
saying the
Charmaine.
consume
when you cross, see,
You
when
know,
this when, that they
but
consume,
we
right,
didn't
is
have
not the
that
same thing
problem.
that
We were
our
friends.
generation used to consume. So it's different. So
You
even the
know.
incident with Antonio is almost like people are trying to use him as a bait to correct societal norms and doing the job that the real people that should have been doing to prevent.
Mhm.
So
but
Mm-hmm.
because so many things are going on in the society, they get it's almost like him give them a leeway or a little excuse for say come and
Mm-hmm.
attack him for correct some
Yeah.
a greater
Mm.
problem in
But
society.
something, I don't like how we operate because a lot of people were chastising him, and now we have this song where you rifle walk, and I see everybody on social media doing that dance with the rifle walk and
Wow.
gun.
But
And
have
like,
you
and I'm
seen
like, what are we
Oh, me no know
doing?
them dance.
have you
Me
seen a session
neither.
of parliament in Jamaica?
And that's what I'm saying. We are
Right.
rifle
You
walk.
see how them adult them government official they flex?
And
Oh
this
That's
Lord.
what I'm saying, Aileen. I'm saying
Mm.
that they're trying to use is like the weakest link. They're trying to use the
yeah,
court to do the job that they they are employed and get hefty pay to do. So it's like you're attacking the weakest link in the whole
yeah.
thing, right?
Everybody a rifle walk.
Yeah,
And
they
I
need
do
to fix them house
and I
before
do
them
this.
attack the boy,
Yeah,
young man.
Mhm.
But
young
I
man do
mean,
this. And we gave him a
see,
hard
them
time.
love him now, don't it?
Of
Yeah.
course,
Yes.
of
Oh
course.
well,
But me just
yeah.
Oh
try to
yes.
show you. I'm just trying to
There's a
show you
transgress.
how people, how some people
Rifle
can
walk.
do stuff and people just
Mhm.
like it and love it up, and yet somebody else do it, and
So
we
It's a
attack them and we
problem.
are ready to throw
The
them on
bias in
the
society.
yeah.
Rifle walk.
and it's
Me
Because
I
no
think
know the
it's
dance.
because he's not from one of the predominant
Come
Alien,
back
you
to
have to go
my
Mm.
show. You
point.
have to go show
it,
Ozzy the rifle
Yeah,
walk.
me never, me
Him
never,
no know
predominant.
the
yeah.
tune. Him no
Bizarre.
know.
As me go and
Mm.
go on YouTube go find it. Oh, what?
Yes, man.
I
Everybody I
have
do
to look it
video.
up too. I have to
Everybody
look
I
it
No,
do
up.
video
Dorothy the
about
two
that.
away. We kind of.
I
Yeah.
don't remember the
Eh.
song. I don't remember the song, but it have gun gestures in it.
Okay,
Yeah.
And
I have them.
yeah. Yet they would have killed Antonio Watson as a
Oh
young
yeah,
man at high school for
Wow.
doing that.
type of thing, but
Instead of try to
It's because he wasn't from one of the predominant high school. He beat them. So
Mhm.
but
if it
it
was,
well, no,
we
it's
well,
do we tell the children not to do one thing and we the
And
grown
then
ups
we do it.
on
yeah.
no,
social
Mhm.
yeah,
media doing
that's
this.
a
Because
We
contradiction,
other
you know.
kids at Boys and Girls Camps, other kids do it. They do it, you know.
enough
Yeah,
people do it. I've
The
seen
year
it a
when
lot.
Watson did it, other kids did it.
Yep, yep, yep.
It's
that's
just
a
But
that now you
contradiction.
said
but
they're putting in some rules that there are some
Yeah.
things they really can't do at the champs, and that's really
Oh no,
just
and
it.
I understand, and I appreciate that they're doing that. That's good,
that them kind of
because
behavior
people
don't
will.
be believe not
Yeah.
supposed. I mean, when I competed, the people that I competed against, we were friends,
Yeah,
Well,
and
Boy,
boys and girls
and
we were
now.
still beating them. They were
dirty,
still beating them.
dirty,
After
different,
boys and girls,
different,
we have
dirty.
Carter games,
Yeah, yeah, we were
all that
girls
excitement
then.
was for
Girls
them.
were separate,
Yeah,
you
after
know.
boys and yeah, so I think they merged when I was in high school. So boys and
Yeah.
girls, like when we run a girls
yeah,
champs and when they run a boys champs,
Yeah,
we
they
have
merged in
mm,
Carter the next
99.
week.
Yeah,
92,
Yeah.
And
93,
then we
somewhere around there.
literally sit down and say, yo, my youth, champs, you see how the crowd did want to kill you? And we are laugh
Mm.
off of them, but they might eat that, they don't know, so we are brethren.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we were friends. We
And
never had that problem.
it's the same thing with world
Mm.
champs. Half of the
Yeah.
yeah,
time we sit down after the race and we
right,
say,
Mhm.
yo, why are these people acting like
exactly.
this? They think that we hate each
Mhm.
other. And we laugh
Right.
off, I don't know.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
And
one of the
that's why
unfortunate
I
things
don't
I've
try and get
seen.
between athletes, because I realize when I've seen you guys when you don't compete and the camera come
Mm.
round the back, on around they hug up, I laugh and chat and
Mhm.
Right.
have on a
Yeah.
social gathering. So when people used to get between and when there was Jetta and you and Veronica and so forth, and I said, look here, Jetta and these girls get along. We don't see that. We don't
Yeah.
see
I'm on the
every year
circuit.
Jetta
Yeah,
there
At the end
Jamaica
of the
run.
championship, there's always a party, and we will dance
Every,
and laugh off at
mhm.
everybody. We literally will pull up the comments and be like, and even with Gatlin and Usain, they literally like, Usain was like, yo, Gatlin, you see how they did you? And Gatlin laughing.
yeah. It's.
You
I think
know.
sometimes the fans get a little bit
Yeah,
too
fans get carried
Yeah.
away. Yeah,
Yeah.
fans. Yeah,
emotional, and
yeah. Fans
you
get
know,
carried away
they're
sometimes,
trying to make
and
the thing into warfare when
yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Mhm.
no need. There's no need
Mm.
for it. You know,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
rivalry, yes, but friendly. And
The
Friendly
at the
friendly
end of the day,
rivalry.
the athletes
But
need each other. The
we
athletes
just
need
have
friendly,
each
to,
other. You
friendly
know.
rivalry.
pay more. We just have to be more cautious as how we handle situations and how we.
Right.
And I think as a country, we need to start going back to teaching our kids. Is it problem solve conflict resolution?
Solution. Yes, yes, yes.
We
Mhm.
need to
Agreed
start
with you.
teaching our kids
100%.
conflict resolution.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that's what's missing in Jamaica right now. Cause
It
and
is.
then
It
the
is.
thing is, we just have to ignore the adult them and just the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And have the kids teach the adults them
Teach the
The
how
adults
adults
how
how
to
to behave
behave.
and how to act.
to behave. I feel
Exactly,
like
Mm-hmm.
darling.
we need to have a bunch of 10-year-olds just run the country for like a good year.
Yeah, man.
You know?
Yeah.
As long as they
Mm-hmm.
don't
Sometimes
take a
the
salary
adults
increase.
Eh?
listen.
As long as they don't take a salary.
Salary increase.
All you
Sometimes,
have
Oh
to do is
Lord.
pay them in snacks.
listen.
In,
Sometimes the adult fans at them take the thing to another level. Come, I
Yes.
man.
want to tell you, right now, somebody not talk to me because when I was predicting the women's 100 meter,
To carry.
I said Shakari can win this race.
Of course
And
you
I
can.
remember somebody said to me, say it is a clear runaway for Sharika. And I said, be careful how you talk because four women came into that race. Any one out of those four
Any
women,
one of them could have won.
Shelly could have won, Sharika could have won,
Mm.
Talu could have won, and Shakari could have won. And I want to tell you, when the race done, and you see when I said it, them hung up the phone for me, and it's my friend. Hung up the
Heather.
Wow.
phone.
From
Totally
baby girl
ridiculous.
take off your fingernail them and come out. Everybody should have known say something up.
Listen,
Yes, she the business.
Shakari
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
winning.
Cause I was like, oh Jesus, we're in trouble. I
Mm-hmm.
literally said, oh, we're in trouble. I hope Sharika and Shelly
Yeah,
pay
Shakari
Mm-hmm.
attention.
winning.
Cause
you,
little girl come out, no
you know
fingernail.
when I
Shakari winning wasn't a surprise to me because
no,
if
it
you're
Not a
wasn't.
watching
surprise
her,
No,
at
It
I
if
know
all.
she
you're
was
wasn't.
watching her,
capable.
if
I
you're
know she
And
was
she
watching
has
her
been
capable.
all
Sharika all
season,
season.
if you're
All
watching
year
her
and this
all
year.
season, you
She's been
realize she's a
Sharika.
different person.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
you know
she
what?
was
I'm
capable.
happy for her. I'm
I'm
happy
happy
for
for
her
her.
because
Yes,
this may change the rest of her life because she
yes,
wasn't
Yeah,
behaving right.
it's
yes,
a
Let's
life.
put,
I
she
think it's
was
going to
not
be a life
behaving
changing
right.
moment for her.
yeah,
Yeah,
Right.
I
yeah,
was happy for her. I was
yeah.
really happy
And
for
So
her.
we have to
to
give her
Her
flowers. She
credit.
came out.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. In
And
fact,
you
She
notice
did
she
good.
she's
That's
now
a change,
calmer.
girl.
She's
That's a
Yeah.
laughing. She's
Because
interacting with the
because
other
if you
athletes.
realize, her and
Yeah.
Sharika had created a relationship like prior to World Championship
Yeah,
yes,
because they've
yes.
before.
been
It's
at.
yeah, right.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
So if you
But
notice, like all of them have created like a relation because they're
Hmm.
getting to know her, and
mm,
Yes.
she's probably sharing stuff
And she
with
was
them.
young. She was
yeah.
young. She was what,
Yeah,
20?
And
because
and
she
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 was.
was
been through a
young.
lot. Her mother died, and with the
Hmm.
weed thing,
22.
and
Yeah,
everybody down on her. So
let me
Yeah,
tell you,
yeah,
she needed
she
that
needed
win.
it.
She
Yeah.
needed that win.
I have to give her due credit because I
Hmm.
cannot think of any other athlete from me following track and field from 1964 thereabout that has
Boy,
been under the type of pressure
yes,
that she
she was.
yeah,
had to
man.
endure.
She takes
But
on
if
real
you
No,
battering, man. She takes on
But if
real
you
no,
pay
and
battering.
attention to the
no other
cycle of
athlete.
World Championship wins,
Yeah,
you notice the
Mm.
US wins. The US have a one year with them win, and then
Jamaica with
Jamaica
two, and
two,
then
yeah,
Yeah.
and
and
then
one.
US
US
get
exactly.
one.
one, and then
Then US
Jamaica get
Yeah,
two.
two.
So it's
US
a
two.
Hmm.
cycle. So
since
Yeah.
we
started
did
with
the
that.
two,
Mm.
And she's
Hmm.
no one.
And
And then
no
get
and
them
this
win.
was
one.
the one.
So next year we take back the thing.
Hmm.
So
We are
what's the
taking
prediction for
back
the
Sherika Vex.
what's the
She
prediction
she
for the
deserve it,
200?
man. She deserve it. I tell people I don't even try to justify it. She was a better athlete on that
At
Yes,
the
On the
that
time.
day,
that
day.
on
race.
the day,
Because
on
she
the
was
day.
in
She
lane,
was.
and lane 9 was a good for
I
her.
think it
Yeah.
helped her. Right. That
Cause
Lane
she was
9 helped her
amazing.
because she
And that's
wasn't
what
in
I
the
said
mix.
to my daughter before I said
exactly.
they need to watch Lane 9
Yeah.
They're
because
Yeah.
already
she's out
watching.
there all by herself while the others are together. They
Yeah.
need to
And
watch.
she
And she
can
said, Mommy, you were right. You were right. I
not
said,
won't
yes.
be
And I
distracted
think
by
that's
them.
what happened in the middle with Sharika, because Sharika
Hmm.
she passed Shelly, so she feels that she good.
She good. And then Shakira just.
And
But
yeah,
she
so
needed that win. She
yeah.
needed that win. And I'm happy for
You
her.
know what I noticed about
And
Shakari this season? She has worked on her top end speed. And you know what I noticed?
I
Hmm.
start better
Shakari,
too.
when she are coming out,
Yeah, she got.
it's like a little teeny bunny. She looks like she's not running fast, but she traveling.
Hmm.
Turn
she
out.
kind
Yes.
of she kind of has like the Flojo, like how Flojo
Hmm.
right
Yes.
cycle, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Elaine.
But
She
I'm looking forward to see Elaine come back because I saw
yes.
Elaine.
Yes.
Elaine have that flying style when they're running.
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
So
Hmm.
I'm
Yes.
really looking forward
Yes.
for that Elaine to come back.
They
Yeah,
are going
she'll
to
come back.
meet
She'll come back.
all of them are going to meet, I think, on the 30th. I think Elaine will be in that
31st.
race.
okay.
Both
31st.
of the finalists plus
Zenith
Jesus,
Diamond League.
Elaine. will
Or the
meet
Yeah.
Diamond,
at
or
the
the Diamond
Diamond
League.
League.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wow,
that
Yeah.
will
that
be
should be
Yeah.
interesting.
yeah, that will
Yeah.
be a very good race. And of
I'm
course,
looking forward to see Elaine in this Elaine because
man,
I
me
Steady
can't
think
wait to see
first.
Elaine. I
Steady
swear, I
first.
swear,
Steady
me
yeah.
first.
burning
Yes.
to see Elaine. I'm
Elaine have that
burning.
flying. Elaine have that kind of light wind
Yeah,
thing when she
yeah.
running like Shakari.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I can't wait to see her in the relay tomorrow. I just want
um,
to see Elaine.
Is she on the
I
Well, I
team?
really
Come in, I want to get
tomorrow.
my hopes up. I know.
yeah. I think the
relay
relay
rounds
start.
is
I think
Is
the
tomorrow.
she
relay
running
start.
tomorrow?
I think
Yeah,
it starts
relay
tomorrow.
rounds.
Four
Elaine
by
will be
one.
Yes,
running.
and
Oh
then the
yeah, she has
final
to run.
Saturday.
I don't know. I hope she
I
run.
come in, I
Let
want
me
to get
tell
my
you.
hopes up. I know.
Listen,
No,
you
here,
see. All
my
right, I'm going to ask you guys a last question and then we go. How would
Mm.
you, all right, we're assuming that we reach a relay final. How
Mm-hmm.
would you, how would you set up your relay final? Who will be your four people? How you will set it up? Miss Dorothy, you first.
Bite sticky.
I think I would put Shelly on to start, then Sharika. What's the other girl name that ran
Kivona.
there?
Brianna.
Kivona.
No, I wouldn't put Brianna on the team.
No, Kivona. I think Kivona
Yeah,
did.
yeah, Kavona, and the other girl just to finish, the tall
Elaine?
girl, not
Elaine will
Elaine.
finish?
Elaine. But I
Okay.
think Elaine. I
Natasha
don't think
Morrison.
Elaine gonna run in the. Yeah, Natasha Morrison. Yeah,
Natasha.
I
Okay.
would have. I would have. What's her name in the heats, the semis, but not in the final.
Okay, Ozzy?
All right. I'm making an assumption here now that Brianna is healthy.
Mm.
With that assumption, Brianna to Sharika on the backstretch, nowhere else. Clean up more or
Right.
less and done the thing. Shelly on
Mm-hmm.
running the curve, good curve runner, and Natasha anchoring it.
Yeah,
The
Mm.
that
relay,
will
the
work.
race done from the third from on the
The
third leg.
second leg.
Who Ozzy
Right.
Mm.
said? Who Ozzy said? Brianna too?
Brianna,
Brianna,
Sharika
Sharika,
running the
Shelly.
backstretch, Shelly on the third leg, and Natasha Morrison anchor.
Charmaine, your team for the
Well,
final.
I would say, well, assuming they're using the four that run in the 400, right? In the
No,
finals.
the four by one we're
100.
talking.
Yeah, no, the four the 100, the four that runs in there,
Okay.
Yeah,
right? I would say I would let Shelly start it. Sherika would be on the anchor. Um,
Morrison.
what's her name? Forbes,
Natasha
Sasha Lee.
Morrison. Oh,
Sasha
oh,
Lee.
damn.
Oh,
Forget Sasha
she's
Lee
a
Sasha Lee
Forbes.
on the
I
third leg
forgot
and
her.
Natasha on the second leg.
Mm. It's
I
so many
forgot
of
Sasha
them.
Lee.
All right, Aileen, your team.
I forgot Sasha Lee
OG.
Forbes.
I'm trying to think of Sasha Lee start.
I forgot. Yes, I forgot her.
Is
All
she a
right.
good
Shelly. Yeah,
starter?
Shelly. Shelly
She,
can start because Shelly has start before. So Shelly. See, the thing is, I would love to have Sharika on the backstretch, but for some apparent reason, she don't know if it pass the stick.
she doesn't.
Oh, so she just have to
So
take
I
and
would go
run.
Shelly, Sharika, um, baby girl,
Oh, I made the assumption
Forbes,
that she can pass. Okay.
Okay.
Forbes, and then Natasha Anchor. But
I
if
forget Sasha Lee Forbes.
if Sharika haven't figured out how to pass a stick, just slip it.
If
Mm-hmm.
all right,
But
I
I
am
want
going with
Sherika on the anchor leg because you don't know US have some options.
I am
They
Wally.
going. I am looking at the relay pool wide,
I forgot
and
Timothy.
I would go from Brianna to Shelly to Sharika to Elaine.
That makes
Sharika on
sense.
the
Brianna,
third.
Elaine.
Sharika on the
Sharika,
third leg.
yes.
No, Shelly, Shelly,
Brianna to
Shelly.
Shelly to
No,
Sharika
cause
to Elaine.
cause oh 09 Shelly run backstretch, you know, so that was a good.
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
Shelly is very good on the back. Shelly cannot run
Yeah.
the curve because she's having problems with her knee. So I put her on
Oh,
the
Oh
Straight.
straight.
yes, yes,
Oh, we
oh
yes.
have
yeah,
to put
yeah,
Shelly
oh
on the
yeah,
straight.
Yeah.
Oh,
Shelly
when we
had run
factor in the
21
knee.
something at the trials.
No, but her
Mm.
knee, that is why she
Her
Ru-
need
didn't.
to go around the
Running a very
turn.
good curve. Running a very good
Yeah, but
curve.
if
Mm.
no, but if you remember,
The knee
if you remember, her knee is giving her problems. So because of that, and
currently.
I think that was what caused us the problem last year. Elaine was not at her best, and we put her against a fit
Abby Steiner.
Abby Steiner.
Oh, Elaine should not have
Mhm.
been
Understand?
on
Oh
that leg,
yeah.
running the longest leg
Elaine,
when she was the
Elaine,
And then
slowest.
Elaine and Brianna has a good
The thing is,
Connection.
I
my
would put
thing with
Elaine,
Elaine right
yeah,
now,
Elaine on the
Elaine
back,
is
Elaine to Brianna, Brianna to Elaine, because they have a good
Exchange.
exchange.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be Elaine, Brianna to Elaine, Shelly, cause all they have to do is shorten the third leg for Shelly.
No need
But the
to.
thing is that
There's a
if
way to shorten. There's a way
Yeah,
to
yeah,
have
right.
third leg run
She
less,
get it late and give it early.
Yes.
Get
yeah,
it late and give it early.
Early.
but if you look
Yes.
So
at
so
some
she
of the top
run. So she
teams,
would run less, but she would be more efficient. But she would run less, but be more efficient.
but if you look at some of the top teams that are going to who they're going to use at the back, Great Britain going to use Asha Smith at the back.
Third
Mm-hmm.
leg, third leg,
Uh,
third leg,
Asha is third
no,
leg.
third leg,
Asha.
Asha has always been third leg.
They're
third
putting
You
leg.
her
may
on
have
the third
Darren
leg.
Nita, you have Asha
Yeah.
Smith.
So
Nita
Third
go
leg.
be backstretch.
Nita going to
Right.
be backstretch. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Nita going go again to backstretch. No, I am thinking that if Elaine is not at our best and you put Elaine at the back with people who are on top of their game, you
Yeah.
might have a problem. The thing is that you want leverage going to the curve. So I
But
would
That's
put
why I
Elaine is
her.
like
Said
10-9
Sharika.
pace
Sharika
right
on the
and
now.
that's
So
why
backstretch.
I
it's
would put Shelly, because Shelly, remember,
Mm.
Shelly come third at the trial. Shelly would have defeated most of those ladies. So I would put
On the back stretch.
Brianna would give it to Shelly. Shelly would get to Sharika closer before the US. Sharika would get to Elaine. Elaine get ahead. Nobody can catch her. If we remember what Elaine did last year at the Commonwealth Games, Elaine wasn't on top shape because she finished third in the
at
100
World.
meter at Worlds. Elaine won the double at Commonwealth, and Elaine took the relay team from fifth to bronze.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
And I
different kind of
realized,
opposition, you know.
yeah, but I realized with
Totally
relay
different
running,
opposition.
I
Commonwealth
realized
Games
with
and this.
relay running, you can be somebody. All right, who remember Taekwondo Tracy against Usain Bolt at the Gibson relay? Usain couldn't catch him. So
Yeah,
you
I'm
can
at 10 meters.
and no, and that's what I'm saying.
So if we get her out
If
ahead,
you
it's
get
gonna be hard
Ilian
to catch her.
ahead of Shakari, assuming Shakari a run the anchor
Yeah.
leg,
Anchor.
Shakari cannot catch Elaine to go to the finish
Go
line
to.
because Sharika,
Right.
Shelly and Sharika would have covered most of that work already. By the time Shakari run down Elaine, Elaine cover the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
But
My
if you
right
put
now,
I
Elaine
agree with
on
you.
the back, if you put Elaine on the back, we might suffer a little bit because we're not sure
Yes.
what
What
she's.
shape she's in?
Her fitness
and
level.
that is the uncertainty in my mind, Elaine, because
No man,
remember she missed 2 weeks after the trials, you know, where she couldn't get
Yeah, she
no
couldn't do
training at
anything.
all,
Yeah.
no training at all.
I realize that relay
So
running is a
there's a
totally
big question mark
different.
right now.
Yeah,
In fact,
Not necessarily,
I don't have
not
no
necessarily.
question mark over it.
Our mindset is very different. No, and
Different,
so when you have
yeah.
that
yeah, but it's more your
mindset,
mindset. You have to be physically in the shape.
Yeah.
And I
no
think
man.
she's in shape. I think she's in shape. I think
I
she's
I
in
think she
shape.
Yeah, I
is.
don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know. I
I
don't
think
know.
she's in
Two
shape.
weeks.
And
Yeah,
hopefully we will see it in the
is
rounds.
not in shape, but in better shape than the other girls. That's the thing, you
I
know.
think
She's
so
not
Yeah.
in
too.
shape, but is she
And
in
Mm-hmm.
better shape than the other girls?
that is why I said with her experience
No,
and who Elaine is, I would put her on my anchor. So my team, and this is me HP,
yeah, 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 yeah.
team would be Brianna to Shelly to Sharika to Elaine.
I
That
forgot
would be
Sasha
my
Lee
team.
Forbes.
My team. That would be my team.
I
But
And
then
forgot
if
Sasha
Sasha Lee
Lee.
Forbes. Yeah,
Oh,
don't
Sasha,
forget Sasha
hey,
Lee.
remember
Sasha
say
Sasha
Lee
Lee.
Sasha
running
Lee
good.
a willow girl, you know, so she have to depend on the team.
And no, she
Oh
And
deserve her
wow.
place.
and you
She
see you
deserve her
gone back.
spot, you know.
Look here,
Because
look
she
here.
deserve her spot.
You gone back to something, and this is why I like to watch America
I,
dominate
I
relays
forgot. I forgot her,
because
but she deserve her spot.
America study the
Mm,
thing, and
mm.
America look at the best fit to win the gold medal. That's what America
US.
does. Alisa Felix no
Mhm.
run 100, and Alisa Felix has been a staple on the American team
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Because
but
throughout
she
her
was a 10 minute
entire
runner.
career.
because USA has that is
Depth.
US
But we have
criteria.
we,
Jamaica don't have that.
but
The
we
depth.
have the talent. We have
Felix didn't run
But
a
Jamaica
100, but
don't
Felix
have the
was.
relay pool
we have
concept, the
Felix.
it.
same relay as concept pool concept as the US.
Felix
But
didn't
we
run a
have it.
100, but she was what? Our best 100 time is what? 1080 something, I think?
No, but the
Yeah,
point I am
Or ten
trying
nine
to
low.
make. All right,
So
look
she didn't
look
run
baby,
at this.
hundreds, you know, but she have the speed.
All right,
She's
look at
there.
Yeah.
baby.
Prandini. Look at Prandini last year.
But Jamaica,
Prandini won the relay for America, and Prandini
And that
is
Good
not a
turn
turn
around.
runner.
100-meter runner. You have to look at your
Good turn runner.
sprinters. You have to
but
look
Turn.
at your
Jamaica I think that
sprinters.
way there.
We don't
Turn.
think that way.
Jamaica I think that way there.
Look at the American 4x4 team. America did not medal, did not have anybody in the 400-meter final at the World Championship last year. Look at their 4x4 team. They went as far as the
But depth,
800.
depth, but depth, depth.
Yeah.
You have the depth,
800 and quarter and 400-meter hurdlers make up
the
their
depth.
team.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Why are we not thinking out of the
Yeah, but
box?
we
Why
don't
are
have
we
no we don't
using the
have no such for the
blinkers?
4x4.
Why are we using blinkers just the same?
US Gabby Thomas is part of the relay pool.
Of course she
The
is.
Yeah.
4x1.
Yeah.
I expect to see her on the back stretch.
And that
And
is the
Shakari
problem.
anchoring.
All right.
And
Why is Kevona Davis not in our relay pool?
no, because I think it's because of how she ran at the trials. You know,
No. No.
no, she
No,
never
you
looked
saw
good in the
Kivona
100.
in the 200 semis?
No, that's what
No,
I'm
no, no, no,
saying.
no, 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 no. We see her
No,
now,
that's what I'm
but then
saying. We
she didn't run
don't
good at the
look
trials.
here. We not dissect where athletes them and look at their strength. We don't know where athletes them strength. We
But she's a
don't
really good
know.
third leg. But she's a really good
Yes,
because
she
when she do
is.
anchor her third leg for
Anchor for our
Texas.
club
She anchor for
thing,
Texas.
anchor.
And all them do, I push her out front
Yeah.
and she just
We're
No,
not using up the strength of our
no,
athletes. We now look further than 100 for 4x1, and we
yeah,
now
but
look
Kevin
further
didn't
than
look good in the hundreds,
400.
you know.
No, but what I'm saying,
Yeah.
you have to look at people's strength.
Yes.
Do an
Nardi
analysis
200,
of
she
your
never looked so
athlete
wonderful.
and find the right fit. And this is where America beat we every time.
No, Kevin, as Eileen said, she looked good in the semi-final at the
No, but
200.
no,
She's
but
looking
we
better
should.
now than when she did at the trials.
No,
Much
but
better.
if we are watching our athletes, Ozzy, you know, just watch them for one season, you know.
No, I know. I
Know one
understand.
season, you know, you watch them over time, and what you need to do is to make note of their strength and work with it. That is what America does. America know that I think Mo could have give us a 49 split. So this is what I'm saying. Them study the thing. We claim so we know track and field. So study the thing and your mind.
In fairness, we don't have the depth like America.
We have the depth.
We
Don't
can
say we don't have it.
we have
We
it.
have the depth.
In which event?
We have the depth.
Which 4x4?
4x1 and
No,
4x1.
We don't have the depth like the US.
Oh,
We do.
we don't have it like the US,
Here's
but
the
we
thing.
have it. We have
Hey,
it. We have it.
hey,
We don't
remember
have the
now,
depth like the US.
2008 Olympics, you know, Russia win, you know,
And I say
and
we don't have
Russia,
depth, you know.
and
US have
Russia, no,
about 13
but
girls under
no,
11
but what I'm
seconds.
saying is, if you no look at the thing, Russia,
Hold on. Japan have depth.
2008 Olympic, Russia
Japan have
won,
depth.
Japan
and
no.
Russia
And
was
don't
not
Japan
do the work.
fast.
Japan
They
does
were
the
just,
work.
they were
Alright.
Which we
just
don't do.
precise
We need
with
to
them
do it.
pass.
No, I
Yes.
agree.
True.
Because I have always been
Russia
complaining
won 2008 Olympics with some slow girl.
Okay. Okay.
the button
We-
change.
Russia
We do it.
almost beat we 2004 with some slow girl.
So in the absence of us
You know
doing the
when
button
we
change,
passed Russia in the 2004 Olympic 4x1, when we reached midway at the curve,
Yep.
Russia was ahead because their pass was flawless.
Yes.
Speed not have nothing to do with relay.
That's right. Thank you.
No,
Yeah.
I won't say don't have anything to do with it.
It's how your gel and the pass them. The smoother the pass,
Look
the
here.
better it is.
One of the
And if
slowest.
and Russia,
our main team has been getting
Look
away
here,
because
one
we
of
have
the-
raw leg speed.
one of the
superior leg
slowest
speed. We
teams.
have won over the years.
but Jamaica's men team have chemistry. You seeing them,
leg speed.
they were like brothers.
Raw leg
They
speed.
move as a unit. Then
if you
they
look
were
at
able to correct each other and fit each other where they fit.
Yeah,
Look
but
here.
if you look at the exchanges,
Until
some of
no,
them
but the thing is,
dismal.
and then the
No,
coaches
Ozzy, we make too
and
much
the coaches
excuses.
No,
We
it's
can't
not
do
need
it.
to listen. If the
in
coach them now
2008,
go
you see,
listen, we now go do no.
when you
All
set
right.
that first world
All
record,
right.
just before
2008, you know.
when you set that
2008,
first
why
world
we did
record,
not, why we dropped the stick, because the coach them never listen. All them a talk about a world record, and they weren't focusing on
they're
the
jumping
fact
ahead of
that
themselves. They're jumping ahead
they
of
weren't
themselves.
focused on the fact that Sharon and Karen's pass was not good. And me tell
Understand
them,
all
me
of that.
point it out.
Right.
And they did nothing. And that's the reason why last year, same thing. The
Mm.
passes weren't good. Sharika never go out hard. If Sharika did go out hard,
Well,
We
we
have
would
to.
have win.
Yeah,
we
we,
can
Sharika went
debate.
out cautious.
We
And
can
what the
debate that.
coaches needs to do is in practice, what we practice with is not what we're going to competition with. We shorten the steps.
We
hey,
can we
When me and
can we
Sharon them
can
practice with that 2004 Olympic, we
there are
shorten them
some
when we're going on because we have to factor in adrenaline and people moving early.
mm,
Mm-hmm.
you
These
know,
coaches, if
there
they
are some
pay
errors that we
attention
made.
to, is a some small details,
Window.
you know what
That's
I
Right.
true.
some
think.
small
You,
details. It's
you know
not
what
even
I
window,
think.
it's the
You
details.
know what I think one of our
They,
problem is we take the relay for granted because we're a top sprinting nation. So we figure so we got this. So we
We
you
now have
was
to
at
don't do
training
practice.
camp,
enough.
We now have to
We
You
practice
don't
because
do
we got
enough work.
this.
hey
We don't do enough
from
work.
from
Plain and
US
simple.
from US trials done,
Them in a
The
camp.
US team have a camp,
Yeah,
Yeah.
relay
and
camp.
then
Mm-hmm.
practice
They.
every single connection because
Yes.
any people could get
Mm-hmm.
hurt. So
Right.
then practice every scenario.
Exactly. Right.
Look
Right.
here.
Right. So
I
if
was
the
saying
play
the
if
They
same
number
practice
thing.
one get hurt,
jitters.
right.
Somebody a move fast,
Yeah.
somebody early.
We don't
Then
You
do
know,
enough.
practice everything.
you
Jamaica.
know
The
what?
last time Jamaica did that was 2004 Olympics.
You know, one of the things that I was saying, now that the trials is over and we have an idea what the team is, I was saying that the J3A should have said, okay, we are going to ask the clubs to release the athletes who go in at the relay at least an hour or two, because all of them training at Jamaica.
But
That
clubs
Release
has
are
been
not
them,
going to
suggested.
send their athletes
and
because their
that
athletes are not going to be treated
and that is
right.
why I'm saying we are divided because
Part of the problem realistically is as the trials finish, one aggregation gone Europe, one part of Europe, the other gone the other part of Europe,
No,
Yeah.
and
all of them
MVP.
they're within. All of them,
listen,
No,
everybody is
all
MVP
within.
gone to
Everybody
Italy.
Italy.
No, not everybody.
Most everybody they Italy,
Because
listen,
like Sasha
and
Lee,
everybody they
I
are the
don't think
same track
would
meet.
have been
listen.
Yeah, it's true.
You see on the
Everybody they are
chair,
same track meet.
oh,
All
we have to
Jamaica
find
have
a
to
way
do.
though. We
put
need
a
to
Yeah,
team
find a
in a
everybody
way.
put
there.
a
Look
team
how
in
much
a
track
team.
meet Sharika and Shelly and Brianna and Ilian there.
Plenty times.
Uh,
Plenty
Them they
times.
are track meet all the
And
time.
relay
All
a
them have to
run
do.
and win a
All
run.
them have to do. A warm up. Make we do one quick pass.
Mm-hmm. True.
yeah.
But our organization has to be able to do that.
The federation again.
Stephen Francis made a suggestion years ago that even before trials, we could start doing some practice. Because you have an idea, even if you don't get it right at the trials, but at least some work would have been done
Listen,
between some of the athletes.
you know what I was saying
You
to
know,
some people recently? You see, like we have Gibson, the relay carnival, and next year, Olympic year, when is a championship year, what I would do to create a little buzz around the event as an organizer, we reach out to these people and say, look, we need four the top athletes them. So
And
you're gonna have team,
school
you're
athletes.
gonna have team Sharika, team you pick Shelly, Sharika, Elaine, and the other top person. I say, okay, the four round of pick on a team to come to the Gibson relay. So you'd have four teams, one team of Shelly, one of Sharika,
Got you.
one of what as a leader. The men, you do the same
Mm-hmm.
thing. Oblique Civil of a team, a Keem Blake of a team, you and Blake, and make them pick them team to come at the Gibson relay and put on a show and get some practice together. Because me and you can almost sit down right now and start pick the team for the
10,
Olympic
let's have
next
10.
year.
One,
But the
two,
You
thing is
three,
now,
understand?
four.
so the US have practiced from long time.
Of
Texas
course.
really,
Yeah.
Texas really, them run two 4x1.
Yeah.
Texas really, Shakari anchor one,
Yeah,
and I think
man.
somebody else anchor one. So US
L-
been
l-
practicing,
We don't do
and
relay
Yeah.
until
again, no, this
we
this
don't
and
is
do
that
where
even
relay
and that was
training.
before the trials.
Yep. we not gonna get it right until we put
Moonsack
some
relay,
structure.
10 relays.
Yes,
We need structure. We need structure.
12
I mean, I
ladies,
stop
11
saying
seconds
we
on that.
need some structure. We need
We
structure.
need
12
Yeah,
structure.
we
ladies.
need structure.
Structure.
We need structure. And it done.
We need justice.
Yes. And with that, guys, oh my God, we have almost 3 hours. Thank you guys for listening.
Okay.
It
And
was
All
I'm
right.
falling
You're
asleep
welcome.
past my bedtime.
yes, it was
Okay,
fun.
okay,
It
okay.
was
We need
fun.
justice.
It
It
was
was
good
fun.
though.
And let
You're
us
going to sleep with the evening.
continue.
And
You're
a
going to your bed,
thir-
go get
Let
justice. Go get
let
sleep.
and
us
a $30
yes.
furniture.
Let
So
us continue to
we
lobby
can love.
for the athletes.
Yep.
Let's
Right.
continue to
Yes.
lobby for the
Yeah.
athletes.
Yeah.
And
We can
We
better
will.
Yes.
for
whatever
That's
we
our track
can
started
and
though.
do
field. We
through this
need better for
platform.
our track and field, and we're gonna call them out. If that we have to do, we're gonna call them
Yeah.
out. We need
Whatever we
better
can do
for
through
our
this
track and field.
platform. Right.
Yes. So,
Mhm.
guys, thank you very much, and have a
Okay.
good night or a good morning. Thank you, guys,
Bye.
and
Um.
Bye.
enjoy
10
the
o'clock.
rest
I
of
have
the
Bye.
a bag of work
championship.
to do.
It
Good
was
meeting
great.
you guys.
It was great
Okay,
seeing you.
Evening,
ladies. Take
guys.
care.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.